Good morning, everyone. I got a fun video to do today. It is similar to my Skumon video since it has pretty good reception. It is on Naak Nako. Now, at least I hope that's how I'm saying it correctly. Now, to just preface this, I have watched this guy before, but it was like way back when he was playing in 2022. And the reason why I was even looking at him is because when I was on FlyQuest, we were actually interested in him. Like, we were trying to actually pull him and recruit him because, you know, when you look on solo queue videos for certain champions that you just want to learn or whatever the case is, and if you at one point looked up Challenger Yon top, he popped up in EUW during that time. And yeah, he had some pretty insane mechanics. He looked really, really interesting. And at that point, he was only 17? So naturally, it's like, okay, so this is a guy who doesn't really have much experience. He's a pretty fresh, new player overall, and he plays like this. So if we grab him, you can mold him into whatever you want. The only problem is that we ran into some issues with the team, where, if I recall, it had something to do with him being almost essentially jailed. We literally just couldn't get him because of how the team was, and that sucked. And that did actually delay him a little bit before he kind of went on to, these stronger teams, and where he finally lands on Vitality B, which, yeah, that was seeing that, when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, he actually got his opportunity. He's actually there. Now, when I watched him in 2022, he was just okay. In the competitive games, you could see some of the good laning aspects of his play, but he was kind of clueless on what to do in the map, and he kind of just died for free at times. It's very classic, low experience top laner issues. So I'm very curious to see where that has gone since then, and what he's preferenced and prioritized as a player. Let's get into it. First off, when we go to his season 14, he has a ton of Cassante, Renekton. Renekton was a huge pick. Of course, this pick continued being played right in the meta, assuming you were actually good at it. And it's interesting to see that he has, there's the Yone, though not as good of a win rate on Yone, but Yone top was not necessarily something you just whip out and just have fun all the time. Kind of funny to see that his CS per minute, his literally best game, where he's just hard farming constantly, is on Yone. Rumble, Gwen, Gnar, not much Camille. And this is for the entire split. Played Gragas. Effectively no tanks. That's the first thing to note. Effectively 0 tanks. Just all DPS bruiser-based champions. Way back in 2022, pretty similar pool. Didn't really change. Okay. Now, there's actually one thing I do want to look up. Wow. Did not spell pros right. So I want to look up LoL pros because I want to see where he's at with his solo queue. Because naturally, yeah, he peaked, right, and did really well. In solo queue, this is how he's been. But I really want to see what champions he actually practices in the end of the day. Yone, Fiora, Jax, Renekton, Galio. But this is Season 3. Season 2, still a ton of Yone, Yasuo. So I guess he kind of just sticks to the things that he likes playing overall. Obviously, TF was not that... I don't think he was nearly as dominant in the Season 2, if I recall correctly. I thought it was more Season 1. But it was a good champion to practice if you could actually get the games on and make it work. Aurora, a very good champion to learn, so it's nice to see that. Rumble, again, very good champion to learn. And if you notice, a lot of players, at least very high-skilled top laners, don't really play tanks in solo queue. That's because in the end of the day, you can work on your mechanics and harder execution champs through solo queue, and then naturally when you move to tanks who are lower execution, though you kind of need a bigger, like a better overall picture mindset of like how to play with your team and move on the map. It's a bit different, but the actual execution part should be easier because you practice these kinds of champions. Aatroxion, yeah, it's still just mostly the same stuff. Okay. Yeah, he basically plays all. Zach was pretty big in EU for certain parts of like the season, especially Zach top at a certain point. I think it definitely was like season 1 2024, right? That was actually pretty ridiculous and OP. But it doesn't really look like he touched that at all. So yeah, he definitely did not preference. Whereas if you compare this to, and also before I go into it, CS per minute, 8 CS. Let's see if there's any different. 8.2, 8. 8's okay. This would incline that he's actually farming a bit more, or not farming a bit more, fighting a bit more. Though it really depends on the player because, and the way the team plays overall, vitality. Let's see. Oops, not this. Let's see what it looks like in the LFL real quick. So, not LFL promotions. We could probably do playoffs for now. It's probably not a big deal. Go to top lane. So, Lot was the best farming top laner. JNX was very close. Okay. And then Matner was the last. Which, this is like, this could be okay. And I say that because if I duplicate this, and let's say I go to LCS, and I go to top laners, and I go to CS per minute, Impact is at 6.9. Now, Impact is a legit player. Like, he knows how to play the game really well and everything. Now, this does say that he probably is dropping a little too much, which is true. Like, I've watched him, and he definitely does do that. So this number probably could be better for him. But that's why I'm not saying it's a direct, like, indication that you're bad. You know, there's probably certain things that you could do better, but knowing the literal impact brings in each game means that like this value is not nearly as bad as when you think of Fake God, who's at 7.2 and does essentially fuck all. No offense to him, just yeah, like if you watch LCS games, like he had typically negative pressure and he did not contribute well in team fights. So this value is very bad compared to Thanatos, who is a lesser contributor to fights, in my opinion. But 8.4 means that he's at least, you know, probably producing some pressure on side and getting strong in another sense, so you do have to worry about it. So for him, you know, 8.3, and you have Thanatos who's doing 8.4, that's not bad. Not bad at all. You know, if we looked at LCK, it's gonna look a little different. Doo-doo. So this guy, 8.8. But again, actually it doesn't look so different. So now you're thinking, oh, this is not bad. Because if, you know, some of the best top laners in the entire world are averaging this out too, then yeah, he must be doing something right. So that's great. That's just a very easy comparison to draw out very quickly. So, okay, so when I'm thinking about his side laning phase, farm, I'm expecting good things. You know, DPM, it's like a very common, like, just quick overview. Is this actually any good or not? Vision score. So this guy was the highest. Wards cleared. Actually, no, this is wards per minute. Fourth. Okay. Cleared vision. Not actually typically up after 15. That will be interesting to look into. Now, I think 15 is not necessarily a good value to base your laning phase on. Usually the first, like, honestly, up to, like, Herald used to be the thing. And Herald, we had 2 Heralds, right? And Herald 1 spawned at 8 minutes. Now, I don't think Grubs is nearly as, like, as drawing at times, because people will willingly, like, trade it. But around 10 minutes is kind of a better indicator. But they don't have that, so it is what it is. Okay, average kills. Okay, middle of the pack. average deaths, pretty high. Second in deaths. Assists. Not bad. Now, what does the actual regular split look like? That I'm curious on. Like, how has this been shaped? So in the regular split, he farmed less. He did considerably less damage than some of the other players, while having worse vision scores. I mean, just to base off this, his stats are pretty mid. Not dying as much. Still pretty up there for assists. Towards the bottom. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Typically, if you're like an exceptional like laner, this probably wouldn't be steered out that way. So either he's doing something wrong, or something the team's doing is like messing with it. Now this is interesting because solo kills, especially for top laners, I feel like this stat is really best for just top laners. But there's been several cases where there's a player on a bad team, like a top laner specifically, but his solo kills are like way up there. Even if his other stats are not the best, his solo kills are like way up there. So like when I was on FlyQuest, we picked up Lunacia. This guy and his, we only had them for one split, and he did fall off a bit later on. But he was at like, if I recall, like 20 plus solo kills. And our team was terrible, by the way. Our team was awful. But he had so many solo kills that it was actually a bit of an indication to say, yeah, this guy kind of just runs his lane. And then afterwards, like, yeah, he makes mistakes. The team makes big mistakes, and they can't really do anything. So 12, that's pretty good. Okay, that's actually not bad at all. That's not bad at all. So now this makes me curious, because I need to reset this. Where does that put him in here? Still very high at 7. So now I need to go into this thinking he's somewhere, he's like dropping, like if I were to write this out, Naak Nako. He's dropping farm or something is happening, like swaps, bad timers to move, that is putting him behind in the early game. But he is also consistently killing his opponent in lane. So there's just like this little difference, and overall his stats are pretty average. Like that's, I'm just gonna say it like that. Like his stats literally feel pretty average. Now, for assessing these players, like in the early game, I mean, the first and the most obvious thing is literally laning, right? Like you have to assess their laning, their skirmishing. And the laning has a lot of stuff. I mean, we could literally just call it laning, and we could call it trading. You know, like we could call it this way and just end it. And then mid-late, it's still team fighting, side laning. And I really want to break it up any other way. No, we can leave it that way. I think this is a fine way to look at it. Like I said, this is pretty bare bones. It's not meant to be like too complicated, because that's only for like, again, deep dives and doing something that's not necessarily what I'm doing. So based on everything I saw, oh, and I can mention his champ pool, as expected, is heavily focused on carries. Casante's like, I want to say he's like the fake tank introduced in the game, because he's not he doesn't play like a regular tank, you know? He's more of a skill-based champion, like many of the picks that these guys use, and you can do some pretty crazy shit, which they love. And yeah, I just don't really count it as like, yeah, this guy knows how to play a tank. This guy knows how to play Cassante. Now, if you know how to play Ornn, you know how to play the rare case of Sejuani or Malphite, whatever the case. Like, if you could play some of the like, Scion, like when I've seen carry players do a good Scion, I'm like, this guy's interesting. And there's actually someone who has done that. Carlson. I don't know where that guy is. You know, I would have to do a scouting video on that guy. But I can tell you right now that Carlson had that when I watched him in 2023. It was very impressive. But we're talking about Naak Nako, so let's focus on that. So they won the Coupe de France. I don't think I really care on this because it's not, I mean, I don't know how serious teams take it, but I do feel like this is always a lot more interesting in its sake. Now, I did watch some of these games for my video on Skewmon, but I'm going to focus on some picks. So, for instance, let's do this. Let's do a Vayne Cassante game because I'm curious. You know, I've seen quite a few players who've done like the range tops. Like, how well can you grow the advantage and keep it consistent? So I just want to see, can he do that?
3 for the Renekton.
Like, you're telling them to pick Cassante, and then we have a big answer. It's like the boycott of BDSA. So
Alright guys, so to start this off, make sure I turn on my volume a little bit. So he's playing Vayne, right? Into Cassante. He wants to get an advantage. They're playing Seraphine Alistar, so obviously they're pathing up. That's like they're pathing up. Now the first thing that BDSA could try to do is invading the brand's top side and just splitting this map and just kind of ruining their day. That would obviously be great. There's cases where you can do a blind invade bot because brand level 1, if he's not getting a leash, which he should get a leash this game, is terrible. Like, you could definitely just fight him off and he can't do anything about it, especially if you're playing Talia. And of course, also, as you noticed, a very important aspect, usually when you see this, is the ward. Now, I could see them actually lane swapping, especially because they have Cassante. I could see the lane swap being good, but will they? I don't know. Like, it's not... I didn't really see any lane swaps when I was watching the LFL, so I want to believe it's not the case. So they invaded his bot side. They didn't expect it. They invaded it. Cool. Now our focus is on top lane, specifically what he knows. So he knows his jungler is, unless his jungler goes into bot side, if he finishes his top side, he knows his jungler is not with him. Okay, so he knows his jungler's not with him, and do they know that if this guy's on top side? He checks, the guy's not on blue, so he knows that, okay, he knows the Talia's coming up, and the brand is going bot, so he's either going to play for a cheater, or he's going to try to outplay a gank when the wave bounces. Now, ideally, he would, as the player, as, you know, I'm going to just say this right now, as a technical term that is used to attacking someone under the turret, it's like humping them. That's what they call it. So, technically, it would be good for him to hump JNX under the turret. It would be good. Because then he can deny CS, grow his advantage, and he needs to grow an advantage. But if he wants to dodge a gank timer, then he can cheater. I assume he went cold, right? Oh, he didn't go call. Interesting. He went D-Blade. So he could have cheated for a D-Blade, or for a call, if he wanted to. And another important thing to note when he's doing this laning, so right now there's 2 creeps left, right? We're at 6, 6, and 7. So 12, 21. 12, 21. Actually, wait. This was the cannon. And then this is the next wave, so he should be at 27 with those two range. Okay, so he dropped 4 CS. Like, so far, you could say that he's effectively dropped 4 CS. Now, of course, Kasante's at 25%, so you could say, oh, maybe that was worth it. You know, he decided to drop CS to get Kasante's health. Now, I'm of the opinion that that can be useful, but it's also good to ensure that you are getting the last hits. Because, I mean, in the end of the day, that's like 80 gold. Depending, right? It's like 40 to 80 gold. So the Talia shows, and the Talia never looked top. And the entire time he is hugging this side, and he's in this guy's face. They could definitely go for something, but I think the reason why they don't go for it, because yes, Talia would show on the ward, and it's probably worth it though, to be honest. Like, I think effectively letting him just do this, and Talia showing mid, and then even moving down on that ward, on the Raptors, this means Naak Nako has complete freedom to do whatever he wants. So now he's gonna run, like, now he's gonna be really in your face.
For now, again, let's talk about what matters. TopLaner's going as you expect a range matchup, at least for Naak Nako working in his favour. Stender's starting to move up here as well. At the 5 minute mark, spotted out by Deep Water from BDSA, gives them the information to know that Stender's being a little annoyed.
And there it is. And since he doesn't have TP, he needs to make sure he's, like, taking the right bases, right? Like, it's super important to make sure he has the right bases. So these guys lane swap, and then he identifies it, so then he runs bot. Great. No issues so far. I mean, like I said, I think he did put himself in a position where he could lose his sums, even despite the ward. And so, like, I feel like maybe he could have toned that down a little bit. But he does instantly pressure the second he realizes, like, oh, Talia showed. She's not coming here to help you. I'm gonna run you to the ground a bit more. Now, the only thing I don't, like I said, the only thing I'm not, like, super, like, hyped on is the fact that when we're getting to this here, so I believe this is the 3rd cannon, right? I believe this is the 3rd cannon, and he's down, like, we'll see when he gets, like, the CS, right? I feel like he's down a bit more CS than he should be. Especially when the Kasante pretty much didn't have much pressure on it. So these guys take the grubs, but honestly, this is a non-cannon wave. The Seraphine should burn this wave, and so should Vayne. Like, if Kasante stays down here to freeze, no matter what, they're gonna drop a wave top. They know these guys are sitting in the dot rush, so they're either gonna stay or not, but because it's a non-cannon wave, they in theory should be playing to burn. There's no drag to, like, worry about either. So now the wave is holding out, and that's a disadvantage to Vayne. So he drops some CS there for his team. Ooh. And then he gets hit because, so now the Kasante, you know, he's a higher level because he is getting the wave that has less dropped creeps. Hits level 7, he's able to build his Q up uninterrupted, and he's actually able to make a play on the Vayne. And he got stunned. That sucks. So now he lost his full sums, which now means to alert, 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 they're gonna play for him. Especially on second grubs, like, and Dragon. Like, they should force a fight to create a situation. Now, Paris is killing himself is, like, obviously terrible. Like you just had an advantage on top side to, like, make a play on, and you kind of just ruin your tempo on the game. So Nako needs to be, like, very careful. Where is his ward? Did he ward the brush? He did. I actually don't know why he warded the brush. Like, this guy warded, which I understand why he did, but I don't know why Naak Nako warded, because like he couldn't even do anything anyways, and now he doesn't have a ward on top side. Which, again, even further tells you, I'm just saying, even further tells me, like, they actually could make a play on him. No sums, no TP. He either has to base and then drop CS again, which is bad for him. And if they don't make a play on mid, yes, the wave is kind of frozen, so that's why like they're kind of fishing around here. But Paris doesn't have to show himself. So this guy is just inting, and then Naak Nako like kind of gets some room to breathe, despite his error.
Right now we have really good vision coverage on the top side from side BDSA. 3 control loss.
So that guy's dead. Sure. So everyone's showing mid, essentially. Like, what the fuck are these guys doing? But he knows these guys are showing. Okay. So he knows they're showing. So now he needs to do his best to kind of get whatever advantage he can, right? And it looks like he got grouped. So he was able to recover some of his conditions, and then everyone's dying here, so now he's able to like press into JNX because like the lane is now a bit reset. Seems he's able to even press into the Zeri, but he doesn't have good items. Like, he's still fishing for a base. So his team... So BDSA is kind of inting, and then his team also is like outplaying a bit. He's still lane stuck, by the way. And this would have been a really good time if like they know Zeri's still up here. Like, where's the Cassante? He's dead. And he has TP. But the Zeri is playing on this wave, which means Cassante is not coming up here yet. Which means that when Seraphine bases, she should run top. Like, she should run top, and the second we see this guy, he needs to back in base. And yes, it does mean Cassante can TP top, which is a problem, yes. It does mean, like, they're gonna have a bit of strength, but it's just how it is. Because right now, we're just stuck with Vayne, no TP, which kind of blows. Like, Vayne, no TP, no base. So now the Seraphine's laning against Cassante, and Cassante's happy. He's like, okay, whatever, you know. And then, you know, the Zeri's, like, perfectly fine with this, too. So BDSA, overall, super happy about the lanes, the game state. So I'm gonna say, in my notes so far, where are my notes? Laning wise, up to 11 minutes was pretty good. Took his base timers, moved when necessary on any swaps, duo swaps. Let's say duo swaps. Did ward. Did the correct wards outside of one. Then I would say around the, what is it, the 11-12 minute mark, missed his base to have Sarah go top and bot. On, how much is this? It's like on 1,450 gold worth of items is terrible. So he can't really do anything. And hurts overall game state. So this, it's not like entirely on him, but he should be like, well, actually no, it is on him. What am I saying? I'm saying it's not entirely on him because like, yeah, his like Jopa could say something, but because it's him in the position where he needs the base, he needs help to find the base, it is on him. So he failed that. So now he's gonna crash this, then he's gonna base. Please fucking base. Jesus. Oh my god. This is on him. This is actually completely on him.
It's a recovery play, BDSA. The nerves didn't last for too long. Right as they say, the comeback play comes in, and suddenly, if the series continues to come online, it's going to be a very, very good situation for BDSA.
Like, he is effectively on 0 items because he's just on T2 boots. And you notice he bought now what? What is this? 1,000? 875, 900. So he was sitting on over 2,000 gold. Over 2,000 worth of gold! Like, dude, that's on you, man. That's on you. So overall, I think laning-wise, I think the beginning was fine, but I think this like base mistake was critical. Like, it was a kind of a critical mistake, and that's something you can't do in LCS, especially against the better teams, or like LEC, in this case LEC, right? Because they will actually punish you. Like the other top laner, if he knows this and he sees this, he will punish you. So, like, good job navigating the beginning. Like, it's like kind of like a 57. It's not a 60. Like a 60 would be high ERL. A 60 is like perfect ERL level and entering the LEC level. And this looks like just a ERL level to me. Trading wise, you know, Wave 5 bounce back could be risky, but he has full sums and took the self-advantage, which is necessary versus Cheater. So I think this was good. I think this was good. He had a return from swap situation where he overexerted, got caught, lost sums. So that part itself, the rest of the trading like flexed when it was right. So I think this is like a little like he's gonna get dropped off points naturally for like the fuck up, but overall, it's like I don't know. Like a higher level player would not have some of these situations occur, but like to me, this does enter the realm of LEC, because he's actually like he's again punishing when it's necessary. It didn't feel like he was completely blind punishing either, though this does say that a little bit, and that's why like it's not. It could have been higher, but it can't be because of the situation. This is Vayne versus Cassante.
Swing right now is they get some more gold back in their pocket. Ooh, tricks it out, stand. He doesn't have ultimate, they're going to wave, but Paris is here to shadow. They need daggers realistically, but they get 3 hits on the tower. That was a very, very different vitality we're seeing this series. They're doing so well. They're angry, they're furious, and they're striking back hard. I'm very, very much loving seeing this more calculated aggression. This is what we've seen them do in the past. This is why they made it all the way to the final. And while those ones still up in the top lane, they're really showcasing to us right now why they deserve to be here.
So Herald's up. Oh man, don't fucking die. Nice. So very nice. So this is like where he like does best, right? It's situations where he puts himself in risk. And obviously if you look at the map right now, like, is Dragon coming up? No. Do we know where Talia is? Technically no. Like, when was the last time Talia showed? She died. So she died and she has 112 CS. Probably implies that she did her bot camps and probably implies she's gonna go towards top side. Now she could go bot. Technically she could go bot and they could look to clear like the wards with her. Especially because the Zeri moved to the right. And yeah, they're doing like this play. So it makes you feel like maybe, especially because you have them both leaning this way, it kind of implies that the jungle's this way. So to me, this tells me like if I'm Naak, this is not as obvious. Now he is the only play on the map though, so I guess that's like those are the two things. There's no play on bot for his team here. There's no play here. There's no play here. This is the only play on the map. The only one.
In the top lane, they're really showcasing to us right now why they deserve to be here.
Yeah, winning well the early game. With 4D and getting tribals accelerated as well as having a tier. Double tier coverage, so they get spike again. Naak Nako though,
That was pretty nice. Oof. Got this flash just in case. Didn't even have to use his flash. They couldn't get shit.
Dodging away yet again. Genex can't find him, and Tackles is now here. Genex re-engages the wall.
Very nice. Very nice. He didn't panic flash. He just used the movement speed from Ghost and his R, and he played it out. That was really good. Like I said, does he necessarily need to put himself in a position where he could get caught? No, because obviously if Cassante ended up hitting the Q, he's dead. So, like, you're having a lot of faith, a lot of confidence that, like, that's not gonna happen. And obviously, if, you know, when the cases where you do outplay those situations, yeah, it's massive. Like, anyone knows, like, when you see, like, your side laner 1v2, it's like, we just got a huge break. You know? Like, you technically shouldn't have been able to do that. You did it. And, yeah, I mean, technically, you don't have to put yourself in a position to do that. Like, especially in this game, I don't think he had to put himself in a position where he had to 1v2 or do something crazy. But the fact that he did is obviously, like I said, massive for the game. I mean, that's just bad. I mean, they're pulling. We don't have Corky yet. It looks like we don't even have Brand. Like, let Sten walk in. Especially because you don't have Flash. So that plays pretty bad. That plays pretty bad. Like, we have like a 15-30 timer where he outplays 1v2. Didn't have to put self in risk. And then we have a 70-30 where he blind walks in bad. And he adds nothing to it. You know, like, granted, just to say right now, like, it did lead to a fight, it did lead to a good situation, and maybe he's depending on, when he's, like, going into this, maybe he's depending that Jopa, because Jopa should insta-R. Like, Jopa should be pressing his R button now. You know what, maybe it's not so bad. You know what? So if you think about it, if they go in, like, if this guy goes in this way, like, he has Alistar here, Jopa here, he has TP on Corky. Now, the only thing I don't like about this play is that Brand is not here. So you're really, really depending on this to go the right way. And it probably is still not good to walk in, but if they do it correctly, you know, a Seraphine Art comes with this way. It stops anyone moving in, you start DPSing, you break this fight a little bit, maybe you can pull them off this and it delays it, because if you don't walk in, it's dead. And so we're shifting for nothing. Okay, like, it's a useless play if we don't walk in. So he's taking the chance to break up this play and get Herald. So it's a high risk play. It's a high risk play. But if they do it correctly, they could win out. So I'm going to call this one. Blind walks in. Hold on. Blind walks in. High risk, but can work. I just want to get a read on what kind of player he is. Like, is he the kind of player who always will take the high risk? Because, like I said, it's almost essentially the same thing like his 1v2, where he knows it can be bad, but if you play around it correctly, it can be massive. And if they turn that situation around on Herald, which, I mean, in the end of the day, they did turn it around, right? But it actually could have been even better than what it was there, and it'd be devastating for BDSA.
Right now, BDSA, the tricky part is they want to buy time series to get another item, get to the free item pulse spike, but it's so difficult with another break calling and not so long, so the parents won't get them out as well, of course. Worth noting that with Terrence like name Brand, if Vitality gets a chance to hit this, it's going to be...
So JNX is going to get TP soon, which means that JNX wants to make a play with his team when he can. And if that doesn't work, then naturally, like, BDSA wants to clip the vein. but that requires them to like secure vision on like Baron and like feel comfortable about this nothing happening around it. And unfortunately, even though it's Seraphine who sucks at taking Baron, Corki and Brand are good. So they do actually have Baron pressure. So all Nako really needs to do, is just side lane. Like, he really doesn't need the shift, like, at all. And since their team is so well ahead and pretty defensively safe against their opponents, the game's, like, pretty straightforward. So, Skewmon kills himself. I mean, I guess he's trying to, like, cut them off, which, in all honesty, is actually not a bad idea. It's just, yeah, they just kind of just flash on him and kill him, and he just didn't really expect any of that. I mean, he's not gonna be involved in this play. Like, him coming behind is just like, it's just like a normal cleanup. There's nothing really to say about it. Okay, so this game looks pretty done. I might move off of it soon, because, yeah, like I said, the rest of his team is so strong that he doesn't have a lot to worry about.
He's been part of every single one of the 15 kills. You continue to keep an eye on the stats because a lot of these fights, a lot of these incredible engages are from this man. And now, well, you see right here on the screen, BDSA don't even dare to come in to contest this raid because they know it's so risky. They simply just can't. The friendship duo from Vitality B, you saw it in our opening. Your play's not just a duo, they're friends, they get along well, and they've been working so well in this game too as well. What's really exciting is the expectations from the analysts from each of the games of BDSA are going to roll over the series. Vitality have given us so much to think about here with 6 take gold lead with an Ocean Soul, now for a big Skewmon.
It's always interesting to watch, like, a range carry, only because range carries are, they're so delicate, you know? Like, Jace is a little bit different compared to some of the other ones, mostly because he has poke and he has ways to contribute in fights with setup, but Vayne doesn't really have any contributions in that sense. Like, it's either you won or you did it, if you're playing a champion like that. I mean, they don't need to be forcing it this way, especially because the enemy team actually has legit wave clear, so they should be ensuring that he always has a spot on the side to do. Nice here for the... There's no dragon. There's literally nothing here to worry about. If anything, he should just be going into bot now. From lane, he's kind of getting wrapped up into just like, I don't know why, again, I don't know why they're 5 stacking. I don't know why he's here. Like, he should know better for the higher level. Like, it'll be on the side laner, like the top laner, the mid laner, to identify, like, look at your side lanes. Why are we doing a 5 stack on mid when they have this champion? Because yeah, her wave clear is actually good with W. This champion kind of. Like, it's just, what are we doing? So, I think for side lane wise, I would say it's an easy path because the team is so strong. And, like, post Baron plus, like, 25 minute mark, over grouping, getting caught up in team situations that don't matter for him. I mean, this is definitely the case. This is definitely the case. Team fighting wise, I mean, there really wasn't too much. But I can see the higher level thinking that he's doing, and he has a lot of boldness. Like, it is actually pretty good by him. Like, this is definitely surpassing, like, a average ERL player. For sure. Yeah, I think this is like a pretty low level. Honestly, I could even say this is like 65 to 68. And keep in mind, since I haven't done this kind of set of work for a while, so like don't take my scores as like 100% accurate. That's why sometimes I'll do like 65 to 68, 61 to 65, because there's a range of where at lower times I could see it being this way. At higher times, I could even imagine it being going this way. So it was pretty good. Side laning, you know, this averages from like, yeah, I should just be farming, so it's like a 58, to like this, or it's like farming and like, you know, I'm pressuring, this is the correct thing to do, so it's really easy. So it's like a very low level like LEC play. And then it also goes down to like 55, where it's like, okay, this is like what I expect in an average ARL game, where like you're kind of overgrouping, you're not seeing the big picture. So not a bad first game, to be honest, for like playing a range top. I don't want to repeat 2. I think that'd be really bad. I'd actually be so curious to see what he looks like on the flip side of this situation. I don't want to do too many. See, the thing is, JNX like actually plays so well that watching him play against that guy is like very interesting. I think this, ooh, I feel like I don't care about Peng though. Hold on. TF seems interesting. I like the idea of watching a TF game. I think watching him play a NAR game would be a little too... This would be really interesting. Cassante Jax has always... Or Cassante Jax. Renekton Jax has always been kind of an interesting set. Also, it's against a lot, so that in itself probably will have interest. And like I said, I definitely want to watch... Not this one. I want to watch this one. Did I have this one on here already? It's this one? Yeah, it's this one. Because I want to see what his point of view looks like playing against a stronger, like playing against a top laner who can harass you. You played a top laner who can harass him. Now what does it look like on the flip side? And then... Okay, I won't lie. This, I feel like this in itself could be interesting just because... Oof. There's a few here that are like... I'm very curious on. I wanted to see what his Yone looks like as well. So we're going to start with this. Because I think it makes sense to just... to keep on where they're going with this. I do need to get some more water, so... bear in mind as I get this movement.
Whoa, much better. Okay, now we're talking, and that's been the environment, the feel coming into a third game where Vitality switched on, recovered from the first game. They talked a lot about draft. Again, we said coming into today, it would be a massive draft discussion because it inherits a mirror. Yeah, Vitality is all about.
Now, red side for BDSA is going to be blinding.
It is.
It's a little bit tricky. You know what? I love that they lean into the quirky characters. I hope they just said it. You're picking Neela. Blind it. Go on your upper.
Do you want to blind Neela?
He did it last time. You know, in semis. Not completely
Yeah,
down.
I was more thinking about that one.
He's a bit skeptical now. You know, we saw them bring out some great adaptations in the last draft. I'm very curious to see what the score was this time around.
It's like, so the strategy so far for BDSA has been we attack daggers, we attack the Vi, strategically being on Vi.
Alright, apologies guys. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I think, the standard thing like Vitality, understand what taking back the strategy is a player.
Much like many LPL top players, I think this supporting player who's flexible, who can play carry, but also in his last game on Seraphine, it's like such a fire role with success.
So for this one is Sante versus Nar.
Once again, pulled out something different for game number 3, but let's not forget BDSA were hyped up for a big reason, not just being the LPL. Firstly, but the way they came through EMEA Masters so far, their game 1 was smashing, their game 2 they got smashed. Can they return to the quality performance? Can they get through this early game and set themselves up for these skirmishes? I think that was talking about Vitality. They need to elongate and move back away from. There's been so many words thrown around, but into a game 3 where the standings are equal, we have to see who wants it more, who can get closer to that trophy. And again.
And I do think, with the way this series is going, it's going to be a fast fight game because 5 games. Every game is just so bloody. I think it was 22 minutes all last game. It feels like permanent fighting because the games are just ending. So, see how this one goes. In terms of the early game, who'd you prefer, Rockstar?
Well, I think both teams have a lot of tools, a lot of ways to pressure the position here. We're going to have push and top from the Naak on BDSA side. Jungle match was pretty even. Zyra does have slightly faster.
So far they have no info on Zyra. It looks like his brand is it looks like his brand is going to path up for him. So for now he has to play in the assumption that Zyra could be pathed up.
Now, similarly to last game, we're seeing jungle on Cassandra's side, Snap bot side, Pat towards top, ensuring that he's not going to be in danger of potentially get through.
Yeah, I'm looking at bot side as well. Zyrus quickly, switching path down the bot side. If the trades are good enough to be BDSA bot lane, if they chunk my health to be enough, they can be dependent dives, so you can dive and redive on Zarya that quickly clearing, especially since they're in our area. But I tell you, be very respectful, not pulling these trades.
So he's lost push. This typically happens, because especially if Cassante over forces it, it could turn into a bad situation, because Zarya clears really fast. So if she cleared fast enough to be up here, and he's pushing, he's dead. So it was good that he did not contest it that hard. The wave is going to bounce, and they know Zarya is bot side. So at this point, he's free to kind of actually play out, and JNX is probably going to play a little bit more in a weak manner.
Well, the problem here is Scuba knows he has a recall now. You don't end up in a fight with backlash coming out of base, already having 3 lashes.
Matches and white catches as well. The ball engagement as he gets from Zen. White catches right up. First part they can do on this fighter. Just put the drop draw.
This is what I'm saying. You're facing potential freeze with the wave punching out. He needs to cross away, so he needs Daggers. BDSA punish. But that can be obviously respawn again.
Oh, Daggers getting the seam.
So everyone's showing now on bot side.
First blood going to this fighter. Maybe we have to talk about following more.
And the sad part of Vitality is that they really have the right idea.
As you can tell, Nako is like more willing to trade some HP, his mana, hold the wave, make things obnoxious for Gnar, and he's fine with that because knowing what was going on bot. Now Zarya again, she could look top. Most likely she should clear straight into bot. JNX is like getting some pretty good advantage with his Mega Gnar timers. This kind of sucks, especially if you're left alone. Grubs is going to spawn, so at this point he needs to base TP. He shouldn't play on this next wave, he should base TP unless they know for sure that they're not contesting this objective. And right now, they don't know this is the case. So, I remember watching this game, and I actually made a note for this exact same situation, where at 6, so I think didn't play for push too much. Good. Zarya location. So this was good by him. Next, 6-minute TP base. Not sure if Zarya, if she did, Naak is late and not helping at all. So this is one thing just to consider. Now keep in mind, they might have like said like I can't imagine they say it's free. Like based on the information on the map, Zarya should already be done with this clear, right? She could definitely be moving up. Yes, Myrelle is moving up first. But I don't know. It's not so like also they need to help mid anyways because it's like very awkward. Support here's first. Brand could be here. I wonder if it actually is free. I mean, Leo doesn't need to be bought. Like, especially because she's overwatching this. And if they wanted to play for Grubs, she could have just sat there the entire time. And knowing that Brand cleared up and even showed on a ward. Yeah, I mean, knowing that Brand cleared up, yeah, they definitely could have played for it. So, I'm going to mark it as a point. I'm not going to say it's something bad, like, because like, obviously nothing bad happened. But it's something to note on, like, his thought process.
Well, he can't stay here for too long. He already has Crocs and Rebel Raptors spawning just a moment. Question is, are they willing to dive? So it looks like...
Hang on, Pimille's now getting well though. We want to go for the dive further. The flash is coming, he's still got barrier. They're good point on the target, good run is on. I am getting hungry though, because it looks like with Vitality, they try to bring a bit more pace and neutralize the frontline. Did you guys think?
I didn't actually. I couldn't even smart flashing people doing. There's the 2 flash from Rel, there's no reaction time available. If they fully send it, you have the flash in the first place. Once again, it definitely does feel like a game, but bowling wave management is key.
This was a pretty big mistake from the side of Vitality. Scuba knows that Douglas hasn't been able to play his boss side yet. He knows he's powerful in top lane. So with that knowledge, instantly moves into the top lane. Now, it is worth noting. Vitality are aware of this. Then recall immediately is moving top side of the base. Douglas joining soon. So while Scuba has taken away 1 capital lane, he's in a pretty dangerous area.
So he's going to go down, this is good. Actually help out and he takes a bit of a chunk. Scuba now moves away. Really get the push towards mid as he looks for his first play. It's building up, gentlemen. We're just waiting for this little skirmish to kick off. If Vitality look 8-5 is 10, consistently moving. At least win today. They are affected by some kind of reverse wave. I'm not sure which one it was.
So the best advantage he can really make in the laning phase at this point is just holding the wave indefinitely and making it awkward for JNX to really play the game. That's like what he can really do. He's not getting much help from his team. He's not really offering much help to his team, and that's just because like his lane matchup is not easy. So he's prioritizing himself. Second Grubs is coming up. He has bad conditions. We have a cannon wave coming up, so he should back base and play for this. if he stays, we're implying that the biscuits are enough for him to maintain. But in his current state, he is not ready to play for this. His brand is also just like nowhere in sight for this. But his brand is also never going to come up to play for this if this is what he sees his top laner's conditions as. Was he going to have Mega for this too? It's not the worst. Honestly, it really isn't the worst when I look at it. Because it would be this wave here. The Mega is just ending now. So there's no real way for JNX to just burn the wave as quickly. And JNX would have to match the base. I mean, in theory, he would need to match the base. And honestly, Stend would never do like the stupid shit he's doing here. Ideally, that would not be happening. Zara, no R. Brand wasted his R. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'll put it down. So, no contest. And this is going to be a big point for many top laners. It's just like, how do you play around your bases for these major objectives? Like, are you in a position to do so? And yes, he has biscuits. Yes, the biscuits might be enough to kind of curve it out, but it's still not really like the most ideal. And so this part here, you know, he sees the fruit, and so that's what he's playing for. These guys note that he's playing for the fruit, and it's definitely just on him. Like, he should never put himself in a position, so it's like 11:29 kills himself for the fruit. Like that was just really bad. Like that was just like a clear like, what are you doing mistake. And now he dropped way more. Yeah, overall pretty terrible. Trading wise, it seems fine. Like, when I'm looking at his conditions, it seems okay. Like, I'm not, like, noting anything where he's, like, he's getting incredibly low and just making nothing out of it. Really does like his fruit, huh? Really likes playing for his fruit.
Yeah, I think BDSA contests, right? You just had Naak turn into mini now, so there's no contest there in terms of the combat power. There's loads of wards down in bot though, right? Down in the enemy jungle, down here. There's potentially into a bot that they can maybe play for, although it might be a little bit too late now. It does look like BDSA contest regardless, but walking through that choke's gonna be difficult.
And we saw BDSA buying the time for the jungles to make it back here. They don't dare to walk in though, they know that there's another panic turn from myself. They have to be super cautious. They need to wait for Gen X to use this front round, to shift down, to stack up the Mega Knight, and then fortify.
This might available as well. Upgraded to Smite, because of that fast lead you talked about in the early game. 4 left for Tackless, so bit of an advantage here. If it turns into a Smite 5, Talia taking help flash rate. Naak Nako avoiding Gen X as he 1 down Mega Knight. They turn on the Parasite. This is the bad angle. They go for the true shot barrage. It flies across the ring to Gen X. Opens up the turret. A smart map for BDSA.
So
You just had Naak turn into mini now, so there's no contest there in terms of the combat power. Down here.
I mean, he got the wave. It's really hard for him to walk into Gnar as is. Like, he would definitely need help, so they're playing for mid wave first. And then he cheats over to take the pink. Honestly, this wasn't necessary. I think he actually could have just played on the wave, and if he really wanted to, a situation could occur that would actually be good for him. Especially because he has TP, so, like, if something went wrong too much, like, you know, you could always, like, make up for it. If JNX ints it, then it's winning. But, like, he doesn't need to play for the pink. Like, that was unnecessary on his part. Like, he definitely did not need to play for the pink. And because he played for the pink, he dropped the turret. So, like, 1430 did not have to play for top dot pink. Like, he just needs patience. And so, overall, his laning phase, it's, like, fine. But there's, like, certain things that I feel are missing that even low LEC players would think about, honestly, in a way. And so that can only put me at put him at like a 58. Like honestly, like I just don't see it. Trading wise, seems fine. Like obviously it's the laning phase that's like having an issue. It's the trading, which I can't put it too high or too low because I didn't get to see nearly enough of it. But it seemed okay. It really did seem okay. You know, he wasn't able to make any... I mean, that kind of fucking sucks. Because JNX is here, and at this point, he has to stop this guy from coming over. Like, JNX is actually demolishing them here. And if he knows that Gnar is running this way, he can't run into him unless his team's gonna return fire, which actually is fine. Like, he actually probably could wait here, let Gnar walk up, and he actually could pressure, and they should send it on Gnar. If they can kill... I mean, like, obviously, if Gnar pops Mega, it's gonna be fucking terrible. Like, it will be terrible. But if you're gonna win this fight, that's like the only way I can imagine you win the fight. Because if he can't identify it and like lure his team to this situation, like as the top laner, he should know how like bad this is gonna be if this guy gets in here, and then he's fucking this shit up, and then they have all these people coming from this way. Like they're done. They're trapped. They're dead. Look, they're literally trapped. They're literally trapped. They can't get out. And now Naak literally put himself in the same position as everyone else. And then he can't even stop this guy from doing it. So, yeah, that's on him. And that also stems from the mistakes he made prior. So, team fighting wise, like 15-15, he needs to tell the team how bad this is because Gnar has free access. You need to go on Gnar. Like, he actually has to tell them this. If he doesn't tell them this, it's GG.
As you said, it's now just bloomed into this beautiful gold lead. Let's hit again as Kadui might be called out by Vitality. Not out and about instead. In and want to continue as Kadui flashes over the wall. Naak Nako teleport in, but Naak Nako again.
I'm gonna be honest, do I actually like him TPing here? Because they're just getting to the side waves now. So even though there's like a flank, which is interesting, like she gets chipped out, Sten would back off. She is now 60%. She's gonna double pot. You're gonna get access to the wave first on mid. This guy's gonna be able to shove out top fully, which is like a really big advantage. But you go for this. He has flash. I mean, to be honest, he should just be running. If anything, he also is greatly underestimating the slow on this proc. Because if he did flash, the TP's gone. And I'm actually probably happy as BDS, because like if you lose your Cassante TP for flash on, for sums on Kai'Sa, who's already hard for you to gain access to anyways, I'm kind of happy. So Kadui, like, oh, Kadui. Did he have enough time to... I mean, he would definitely get caught by Cassante. For sure. He had to hit it there. Oh. I mean, that sucks, but it's just... And he does gain access to the top wave. So, in the end of the day, it turns out good. But it's just worth noting that this was, like, completely dependent. TP flank isn't that really good, but if Kadui flashes a slow by support item, then it's a dead play. And so, like, that's the only thing, and then it's really bad. But I'm actually fine going for it. Like, I'm actually okay going for it because, you know, you're not always gonna assume everyone's gonna play everything perfect. And if it looks like a catch, like a sudden catch, not bad. Now, of course, he's top lane. The only thing is he's top lane now, and his Ezreal's going bot. So, he doesn't have TP for Dragon. He should actually base now and head bot. He shouldn't stay top.
up at the same position again, where Genex pushes out top, crazy prio, and then forces out the victim again, turning into that fight. It looks like Vital's being
Like-
that because TV's down, they have to shift those top, they actually look for Genex.
Yeah, looking for it. They're taking time to go out. They have no vision here for Genex, rather. It's Trace Naak Nako taking it.
But this is the experience advantage. This is what Gen X brings to the
Like
table.
this isn't ideal, and clearly they're giving up the dragon now because of the TP. So now they're gonna all in top side, and yeah, it turns into a disaster because now the play that you wanted to go for is being denied.
Level 13, remember, and he's got 2 items. The damage on the Naak Nako is going to be insane, as we talked about the oldest. Level 13, remember, and he's got
What
2
can
items.
what can Naak do here? He should just run into the face of Gnar though. I mean, Gnar has... Did Gnar have E? Did he use E? He did. So he has no E, and he has only Flash. So he should just walk into him. I don't know what...
The damage on the
Like, honestly, if Gnar runs this way, Gnar kills himself. So, like, Naak should always move this way to cut him off. Yes, everyone's gonna, like, you know, come a bit later. It's gonna be... it's gonna drag out. It's gonna suck. He has Flash. He's probably gonna burn a shit ton of time, which is really bad for the map overall for vit.b. Again, this is not Naak's decision at this point. This is just whatever the decision Vitality is like decided to go into. But now he's not in position to get his W off, and it's too late. And naturally, yeah, it just turns out really bad. Like, does he even have his W? Did I miss him? Like, oh, he used... shit. Shit. Okay. Okay. Woo. Using W for wave is terrible. So, like, there actually is certain things that just, like, you just have to be really mindful of, and that was not great by him. He definitely needed to save that CD for the situation. And again, because he went for the pick on Kaisa, you know, even though I'm not giving like a huge default like a huge like clip. Like I'm okay going for it because it's like you're creating a play, you're trying to make some momentum, but in a like bigger game, it's probably not worth it.
It's a bloodbath down in the bot side. They managed to pick up shy over
So his teammates are dying, he's on mid wave, he should go top here. Like, he should always go top here, I'm pretty sure. Because if everyone just accepts that this guy is dead, like, Ziggs could already be running, by the way. Like, this guy's clearly dead. Ziggs could just be going mid, Kasanti could be going top, Brand takes bot, and you recover all lanes. This requires everyone to just be on the same picture, and then these guys play on him, so he loses his R, loses his conditions, he needs the base. If he goes top for this wave, he can't fully shove it out. So now he's not really doing anything because, yeah, he didn't get to fully shove out the wave. And he has TP, dragging to 330. Going bot is perfectly fine on his case. He's doing drugs. And Ezreal cleaned this wave now. Rel's already on the map. This actually might be a case where he should go through mid one time. Because he doesn't know... Like, he knows Leo literally showed here with the Gnar. So there's a chance that if he goes bot, it could create a situation he doesn't want, especially because Yone has a timer top. So, like, he has a timer, the Leo could be down here, this guy could be down here. He can't really go down here, so it's good that he's not there. But it'd probably be better if he went through mid with the rest of these guys and, like, secure this. And then you can kind of create the situation. Ezreal, no matter what, has to go here. Ezreal needs to be here to take the wave. And so at this point, you can kind of lay claim. And if Gnar shoves this, then probably Leo didn't stay down there, and then he's going to run down there. But he needs to do it. He needs to, like, do it that way at the very least, because if he doesn't, like I said, it's just, you're kind of unsure, and that's why he's not, like, going down there right away. And then, again, keep in mind, if he was going through mid or something, this never would have happened. This literally would never happen. So like 20 minutes should know to go through mid. Well, through mid versus through bot slash chilling in bot jungle. There's just like a lot of things, and again, he doesn't want to. So overall, this was bad. And keep in mind, he doesn't want to do, like, yes, they have Ezreal TP, but they don't want to use Ezreal TP because then you're losing the top wave and then the bounce CS, and overall, it's just, like, just bad for you. Like, it's just a bad play to, like, create a situation on bot. And now he lost his TP. So this guy's 100% dead, by the way. We're not fighting this. But he TPs. So now he TPs. And this gets even worse. It's like terrible TP because Douglas was 100% dead. Like, he literally has no flash. So now we're down TP again for the second time in this game. That didn't yield too much. So now Gnar has TP advantage. And once Skew gets back up, they're gonna like fucking ram the Baron. Like, that's what you should always do in this case as BDSA. You're gonna ram the Baron. And this results in K'Sante having to join the team because after he takes this wave, like, he buys his item and he's like, I need to be here. The thing is, the Gnar should stay bot to push more waves because he has that advantage. And in this case, the Ezreal needs to go bot. Like, the Ezreal actually should be going bot now. Or at least stay in mid to cover once, then going into bot lane. And then K'Sante should be on the top wave. Like, they need to actually balance this out, because if they don't, like, it's just gonna be bad. So now the Gnar is gonna create a situation where, yes, he must come down here. Unfortunately, now they're playing on this guy. Paris kills himself. I remember this. Like, it should not have turned out that way. And even the Gnar kills himself. And overall, Naak is just like pretty lucky for like how this turned out. And it's just like simple cleanup. He just flashes. There's not really much to it. Though he should definitely just R the Zyra now at this point. He's being a little too cute. He should have already R'd her, especially because he flashed, and if he knows that she has flash, he's just kind of wasting his time. So he fished one time for the Zyra, which is like, I guess is okay, but ideally, he would insta-base and go bot. Because he needs to like they need to start pushing these waves and prep for Dragon. Ezreal being top is fine. 22, like, I don't know, it was like 22-30 or something like that. Half HP, runs in, gets nothing done, and then kills himself. And keep in mind, this is like another thing where it's like 20-20-40, like, needs to know that's the base, go bot, for Dragon prep. So, the biggest issue I'm having with this player so far, and this was an issue I actually had with him back in 2022, which is, again, that's like a long time now, is he's just not really thinking about where he needs to be on the map and how this pertains towards the objective. And the objectives of what matter the most in League. Like that, like, the game is like completely dependent on objectives. Yes, you can be good at team fighting, but like you also need to like recognize like what is good and what is not. And like, by the way, this is his fault. Like, he has a normal shift timer mid. This is good. This is a very normal play. He has Q3. And they see Skew on the left. They see Yone probably coming over. Gnar, no TP. Maybe there's something, right? Granted, Leo is a little tanky.
Saw some of these plays in the last.
He goes in.
Yeah, they see him.
I'm trying to think. They also know Kadoi's on the right. Honestly, he probably should just run at Kadoi. If they're going to try anything, he should just run at Kadoi. Or, Sten could literally, like, full combo. By the way, the Zyra's dead. Actually, this is kind of funny. The Zyra's probably dead. Sten would die too. They'd have to all in the Ezreal, but he has Flash, and that's probably the best play you can look for. Is this killing Skew here? Trading Sten for it? Because his bubble isn't going to do shit, by the way. Like, when you W, like, R, it's going to, like, remove it, and he's going to get stunned. You're going to have full DPS by these two members. He's dead. Like, this guy's actually dead on the screen sitting here with the ward there, and they know the ward's there. And then Naak will pretty much sit on this guy, and since this guy's so far away, same with him. Huh. He's dead. He's trolling. But no one, like, is looking at this play, so if you're looking at Leo, Leo's the worst play.
And we saw some of these plays in the last game as
Because unfortunately, you just... Like, yes, you can chunk her, but there's also a chance that you also could get this chipped out from it as well. I'm kind of surprised. Actually, you know what? It's not that bad. No, I'm really trying to, like, see if, like, something's bad or, like, good. It probably is fine if he Q3s her, W's, pushes her back. They just need to full send the damage. Like, they don't have to use Zigzar, but, like, they definitely should have, like, a brand combo coming through. For sure, yeah, he has full spells. Why is he running away? What is he so afraid of? Just walk up. He's the only one with, like, these two are the only two with confidence. That's funny. That's actually so funny. Okay, so because at first I was thinking this looks bad, obviously, after the outcome. And, like, maybe it's bad to just go on Leo in general, but then it's like, I thought to myself, but what if they chunk Leo to, like, 30% and then they just run away? Like, then they have, like, an actual advantage on the map while dropping the waves. But now they don't have the advantage. They didn't get anything from it. And it's not because of Nako, it's because of fucking, it's because of his teammates. One more wave. 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 I mean, because they know Gnar. Where's Gnar? He knows Gnar disappeared. And if Gnar's not on his ass at this point, then there's a good chance that Gnar probably based. And, I mean, Gnar could be in the side. I mean, he really could. I mean, Zyra also could be moving down for the crab. Maybe I'm trolling. It's probably fine. He has TP, though. And I feel like once he sees the Gnar mid like this, he should push out bot. He's getting too scared. I mean, he should have pushed this out, and if he did, they actually would have a really good situation. Now they're back to just, like, grouping, like, goofballs, and he's getting absolutely blasted by the Gnar. This is definitely not a great game by him. It really isn't.
I will say, there's one thing good about this, and that's one of the side lanes has lost Baron, not having Baron to really detrimental to the side lane play, but what they don't instead, they stick up topside, and that pressure on top could translate into a TP as well on this right.
I'm getting hypey because the CTP comes through from Jack's stand has shown me willing to take these engages. Instead of Vitality, the 2 months, it's good for now. We've got Anti-Val too. As Soul's there, gentlemen, a defining fight in this game, Teleport kicks us off.
There's a TP ward behind the pit as well. If they want to go for that Rika, he could pull the miracle flank.
Here comes the Yone.
Ward behind the pit as well.
Okay, so he's with the team. We clear the pink. He needs to stand upward. Once we spot the Yone, this shit looks fucking terrible. He needs to go on the Yone. Like, it's his job to mark the Yone at this point. He can't mark the Leo or the Gnar. That's not going to do anything. He needs to go on the Yone. Ooh, he actually could have... I wonder if he could have extended that.
TP ward behind the pit as well. If they want to go for that Rika,
because they don't know where Yon is coming from yet.
Here comes the
They don't see Yon yet. Now they see Yon. See, I'm actually okay with how he played this. He tried to get the W off. It wasn't enough. Should he just like insta-R this guy? You know what? It actually might be good for him to do that. That's interesting. The only thing though is if he Rs, can Kadoy follow? I'm not sure. Because like right now, if he Rs this target and knocks Yon over here, yes, he's gonna snap back to his E here. But it buys you a lot of time, and the dragon is so healthy. So at this point, like, you must turn and go for this, right? But he's like, you know, he's doing the typical Kasante thing where he's looking to, how do I say it? He's looking to maximize his spells. And so I can't remember if it's like Kasante who can choose his direction, but probably at this point, it's too late to do anything here, and he could push this way maybe into these guys and play with Shuck. That's probably the better thing he could have done. He should have done that. Once he committed his W and failed to stop this, I'm pretty sure he needs to go this way. Granted, like I said, I can't remember if this is where Kasante can control the direction or not, but if it's not, then he should have went this way into Kadoy and played around him, because it's too late to do anything here. You're way too late. And like, yeah, it's just way too late. But he did do the right thing initially. Like 29, 10, like 5th drag fight. Correct focus on Yon. Bad reaction after by not assisting. He actually dies too pretty quick afterwards, huh? Because like, part of me thought, should he R JNX here? Like, should he R him? But then I think to myself, if he Rs him, he's just gonna die to Kaisa. So it's actually probably fine that he didn't commit his body too much here. Yeah. This dragon is not soulless. Douglas is now down. No smite, and BDSA have them right where they want them. Kadui on the back end. He dies too, but a smite. Yeah, I mean, like, that is on him. Like, he went for all of it, but like, he could have just slow played this, knowing that this guy has no flash and no one can follow you up. And it's the same case where I said, like, you know, you just don't want to go too far. It's just, this game has a lot of situations coming up that are just kind of unfortunate. Same back and forth on the counterplay after every single play. It looked like such a great angle for the only kind of 4-man ultimate, but he doesn't connect. It only finds on one person. And it doesn't even look that great. But then what you have is an overstretch from Naak Nako. It looks like you find a play with the ultimate, but it doesn't quite connect. And he goes down. Such a good position here by Vitality. But Schumann doesn't die. Naak Nako ends up free screen. Yeah, we see the sniper doing on the back that seals the deal. So many low health pass, so close to a massive comeback play, but instead, it's a dire situation for the Beast at this point in time. And I mean, that just showcases Vitality trying to play over the margins, but BDSA, they've got them downloaded at least in this point. Look at the team fight damage, and you're not surprised that Kadui is hitting range. That's Schuman's earlier lead. He's also doing a lot for this team in game number 3. BDSA now with XXL. We'll go to a pause, but it's 7k goal. I'm so curious how this goes. I mean, I've seen it, but like, the most interesting you can do when watching League games is watching it from another lens, either another player's lens, another team lens. And so rewatching this, I'm realizing like, there's actually some things I missed about Skew that are actually pretty bad. Like, there was like definitely moments where I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't even realize he could just be dead here. And I wasn't thinking of it. And with Naak, you know, like, it looks, his scoreline looks okay, right? Like, from a glance, it just looks okay. But watching the game, it's like, he's missing a lot. Like, there's like several moments where if he was like in a better position that he would be able to actually make a difference. Now, I had some theories in my head, but I don't want to say them until I watch more games. Because one of my theories is that he's not a talker. Because there's moments where he, for sure, if he was a talker, like if he actually communicated often, he would have made a difference. So this is not really on him. Like his team decided to go for this. Actually, to be honest, is it on him? The Ziggs should definitely be on mid. It's not on him. So that's what he does with his TP. W's good. Honestly, Escasante, he actually overdoes his like this was a really good, right? And at this point, he probably could R the Yone and try to go a little bit harder into this. Or, because like I said, he comes in and he moves these guys. He could bounce right into Godoy, knowing that Yone is going to bounce back and try to help Douglas survive a little longer and make something happen. He could try to do that, but he doesn't. And then he just dies as is. That was nice by Kadui. I keep saying Kadui, but it's Kadui. I think team fighting wise, there's just too many there's just too many mishaps to make me think that like. Honestly, I feel like, man, is it actually kind of low level? It feels kind of low level. Like, too many spell mistakes and focusing wrong area. I really do feel like there's just too many mistakes this way. And then with this, I felt like this was even worse. Like, just seemed kind of lost on how to help the game. EP's not it. Like, that's how I felt. I really felt like he seemed lost on how to effectively play the game. And that's not how you want to go.
Du côté de Géo, on est allé en 5 games, donc la question de la confiance se pose d'autant plus. Maintenant, je sais pas ce que t'en as pensé, mais j'ai trouvé Prime très solide, et ce sur la totalité des 5 games de la première étape de ces playoffs pour Géo.
La botlane de Géo, de manière générale.
Oui, c'est vrai.
La toplane, bon, c'est un petit peu établi. Je pense que s'il y a un côté RNG, pas encore déterminé, c'est évidemment le mid-jungle. Mais Naak Nako, c'est quelque chose. Hein. On a posé la question, bien sûr, à ses coéquipiers, pourquoi il jouait comme s'il était dans un simulateur de lanceur de fusée. Et ils nous ont dit, il jouait dans juste kiff. Il est
Français.
Okay, pass this. Let's get past this real quick.
Pour le coup, parce que Luciane, bon.
Okay.
Joli rebondissement de draft avec.
So this is against Lot. We're playing Jax versus Renekton. Well, Renekton versus Jax. Let's make sure I have it the right one. Renekton versus Jax. This matchup is skill matchup. Renekton should beat Jax in the laning phase. He should. But you can make mistakes. Obviously, like the most known thing is like timing your W to Jax E. Knowing as Jax that if you use your QE and Renekton E's out, you're like not gonna do shit. So like you need to ensure that you're in range already as Jax if you're starting your E. And then if Renekton tries to E out, then you can Q follow up and then you can win. Right? And Renekton needs to have some balls in this matchup because like you have to play again around the counter-strike and you need to play in the wave for your Q healing. There's a lot to it, and I'm gonna assume he's not gonna get pathing because they're playing Xayah Renata and they probably want to play for lane.
Prévu bot side, flexé au mid, tu l'avais bien senti. Ouvrant, mais c'est un pitch, il fait partie de la liste des pics à surveiller. Oui, c'est les pics d'issue un peu. Oui, tu sais jamais où ils vont finir. Bah, je crois que c'est le seul pour le coup parce que Luciane, bon, ça fait 1000 ans on l'a pas vu bot lane. Ouais, du bon Corti, ça fait 1000 ans aussi qu'on voit plus bot lane depuis qu'on l'a en fait.
Okay, so already, if they make note of this, which would be awesome, they should pad up because if he's using his ward like this, he's a gank. Like he's literally just a full gank. So the Renekton just needs to play on the wave in an even state, and they can get a kill. They probably could get a kill. So he walks with the wave, he's hitting the wave in front of Jax. Jax is not going for any E's, and it looks like he's able to clip the Jax a little bit with some Qs. So he's playing the lane better. And it looks like the Jax is trying to force the push. a little too much.
Les deux junglers ont start bot side et se dirigent vers le top side, vers ce match-up potentiellement explosif entre Jax et Fennec, qui en théorie est à l'avantage de Jax via la combat fight.
Absolument. Et ensuite, c'est.
Yeah, the Jax is definitely pushing the wave, like trying way too hard for this. Because I don't think he's... Ooh, dude, also, if I'm fucking Amumu, I'm going top right away.
Ouais, tout à fait.
On dit Dominus.
Ouais, dès le départ.
T'as dit Dominus.
Non, mais.
This is just... Okay, this is actually so illegal, by the way. So straight off from just to mention in the beginning, so there's like 5 minions here, right? So he's not really down CS. Cool. I think he should be able to play a much better game, and they should have a full game plan if he's gonna ward. Yes, I know going for a 3-camp Amumu play is not the best for your game in terms of clear, but killing the Jax with a frozen wave is just insane. And I think, again, this guy should always die. If I'm playing solo queue, I remember I played a recent solo queue game where the guy literally warded the bush, and I pinged it, and my guy came up top, and I just demolished him. Like, I just ran the game after that because I just had such a free advantage. So yeah, this guy should be dead. He should always be able to hold the wave, burn his conditions, and then the Jax is just crying. But, you know, well, we didn't do it, and that's on the top lane. Like, that actually is on the top laner. This was good, and he stopped the cheater. Like, overall, like, in this, like, opener, he did better than Lot. Like, for sure he did better than Lot. Like, no fucking E. This guy has to play scared the entire time. Now we're growing the wave back out. His base is, like, he's gonna base TP. He has to base TP, no? He's not gonna base TP. Was it a cannon? Surely it was not a cannon. The cannon just died here. At this point, Renekton could just burn the wave, especially because he has the rage to do it. I think the only thing he's worried about is that if he uses his spells on the wave, Jax could pop out and try to freeze the wave. So I assume that's why Naak is not doing it, but this also means Naak is going to get a superior base over Lot. So Naak effectively won the laning phase. Like, now that he's going to hit level 5, like, he's has a level advantage, hits level 5 first, whatever the case is. Yeah, it hits level 5 first. He should get the wave in 100% of the time and get that good base. Yeah, that's solid. He gets a longsword, he gets a fucking cloth armor. He is even able to run back to the lane. Both junglers are pathing to their side. Amumu has a lot more time in some senses because he cleared out his bot camps, his secondary bot camps, so now he's just kind of staying on top side for grubs and everything. They should fight for grubs because it's Renekton. You should always fight for grubs as Renekton typically. It was good. Held his W. So it looks like he wants to burn one more wave and then go play for the grubbies, and they effectively did. So well, that was kind of cool. Okay. So I think overall, I'm actually pretty happy with the, outside of like missing the Jax kill, I'm pretty happy with the beginning of the game for Naak. Like for this skill matchup, like yes, and like again, I figured he was not playing for push or like creating a bad situation because the Jax kind of inting, but they didn't really do anything with it. Also, I should really double check. Yeah, he saw the fucking ward. That's crazy. Oops, way too far. He has good item buys. And he has TP the entire time. Okay, so that's like, you notice this is like the main thing I've talked, well, not the main thing, but like this is like something I talked about. So he clears the wave, he bases, he comes back, the Jax is like building the wave. He should be able to freeze the wave here because the Mumu is going to leave at this point. And he has definitely better items. Less healing overall, and I say that just because the Jax has 3 biscuits, 2 pots. It looks like he overforces a trade on Jax. So... I mean, I like what he's done. Like, up to this point, again, missing that one thing. Ooh, actually, it's supposed to go here, sorry. But, there's a big but here. For trading-wise, something happens where he, like, just overforces on return because of item advantage. I mean, he definitely was in a superior position at this point. Also, Amumu is leaving, so... like, you don't have to focus on any objective, just your lane. And he kind of fucks himself. And the Maokai is now clearing up. And now he's put in a position where... and he has a ward. He has a ward. Has a ward, and due to trading such overforcing wave. And because look, again, remember, when Jax E's when you're close, when you're like melee range to the Renekton. Because now you can use your Q to get in range to stun.
Naak Nako, il a pas de sortie, il aurait dû faire attention aux racines, du coup il est route une fois, il est route 2 fois, il est bump et on ressaute dessus, il flash.
Yeah, he's dead. This is dead. He fucked himself. He did so good and then he fucked himself.
C'est vraiment dommage pour Naak Nako, parce qu'il aurait pu jouer le truc un peu plus smart, mais il a évidemment pas la vision sur les racines. Et donc du coup il se prend le full cycle de Maokai. Un flash qui peut sembler inutile, mais moi je trouve que le trade flash pour flash, quand t'es le personnage qui est le plus orgueilleux en mêlée, je trouve que c'est plutôt un avantage. Ça c'est vrai. Surtout quand t'as un mur dans la je vois pas, on fait jouer sur les phones des codes. Et là t'as VTP du coup. Oui. Et quand Ezreal avait 6 sur les toits, ça fait très sale. On comprend cette priorité qui est accordée par les abeilles à ce petit top trade. On l'a plutôt déjà sorti d'ailleurs. Ouais, on répond Géo. Marrant d'avoir TP top ramassé 5 millions sur des bots. Oui, c'est peut-être pas une version optimale. On s'adapte un peu, j'imagine. On passe par les fois qui m'ont craqué rendez-vous, les fois qui sont déjà bien, t'as pas d'agas qui semble. Je suis sera active pour l'impression. Ouais. Ouais, Vita qui a un vrai avantage de blacking également. Sur le bot side, sur le top side, on a réussi. On a été un petit peu plus véloce, le double range paye vraiment. Économiquement, ça va. Les deux équipes qui sont à flot. Je sais que ça devrait s'intensifier. La glace, sur Bukadak, Fashion CC, il y a encore Bukadak, encore une fois qui va connecter. Bukadak qui fait le flash. Petit ultimate, on a un backup d'Azure qui est en train de se diriger vers ce top side. On a effectivement pas flash, il m'étonne un peu. Pour les plays qui s'enchaînent. Je vois pas qu'il récupère un kill, récupère des plaques ici.
This game's gonna be really hard for him. Because at this point, the Jax is gonna get his Triforce before the Renekton gets his item. And once that happens, like, the Renekton's not doing shit. Like, he'll maybe still be able to, like, press a bit, especially if, like, a Mumu ganks and you have, like, the CC. But, yeah, overall, it's just gonna be a real pain in the ass. So it looks like he's gonna cut the wave, which is actually fantastic for him. Like, really good. The fact that he's, like, getting to avoid the fight the Jax, really good for him. So the Maokai is burning all of his shit bot. All the junglers are bot. The Jax is even clipping another wave. He clipped a wave. He's taking Raptors. It looks like he's just prioritizing to take whatever farm and so I actually like the mindset in a way. I actually don't mind that. It does pay off for him. So the Jax does complete Triforce. Yes, he got Black Cleaver, but it's not the same. It's definitely not the same item. So with that, I would say, like, laning-wise, he just made one mistake. One critical trading. I mean, yes, it is trading mistake, but there is, like, I can see his play outside of that, and it looks fine. Like, it does look fine. And like I said, I do like this proxy idea that he had. I don't like that he did not kill Jax in a very obvious situation that both him and the jungler should identify as an literal play to make every single time. So I think on the low end, it's like the low end actually feels like a 50, like a 58. Like it probably is not as low as I want to say. Even if I think this kill should happen, like, he still played the remainder afterwards correctly. And yes, the death was kind of dumb, and that does reduce what you do. But I've seen this kind of shit in low LEC level as well. So it's like, it's somewhere around here. And like, if you just remove this part here, or sorry, this death, and even if, let's say, you punish this here, I would have shot him to probably like high 60s. Easy. Like, it did look good. Trading wise, it did look good. Again, outside of this one situation that he had. And so, like, again, it's like 50 cents, because that situation was dumb. Like, it's that low. That was a really dumb decision. But outside of that, it looks pretty good. Like, it actually looks pretty fucking good.
J'ai beaucoup aimé cette retenue. Attendre que le Corki cache son amateur. Le Corki il est big, on s'en rend pas compte, mais il est très bien joué ce Corki. Ouais, pour les yeux avec une bataille qui prend double range, arriver au quart de jeu en ayant 2 dragons, c'est quand même pas si mal. Maintenant, il faut garder que Vita, ils sont
And also, for anyone that sees these scores, keep in mind, getting like a 65 is not a bad thing at all as like a player. Like, as an ERL player, the second you start showing that you're past that level while playing in ERL, it's a good thing. It's very rare to throw like 70s and 80s in the ERL level, because typically it means your opponent is like playing pretty well as well, right? But if you're just like kind of smashing people because they're just so shit, but you're doing the right thing, like, yeah, it puts you in the 60 sets, which is good. Like, even Kaliste, who's like a very hyped ADC player, I did actually give him some 70s at times. Especially in an Illusion game I watched, I was like, holy shit. Like, this was really impressive, especially the way his spell usage is. I was like super impressed. But that, even then, there's still just moments where it's like, it's clear like he's just not performing towards like some of the top players that you're really thinking of in your head, even though like you know he can be good. It's just he's just not there on that grade level. And so for Naak Nako, it's, I'm a little all over the place, because he seems like he has a pretty, there seems to be like a spread of play. I'm noticing the good things. I'm noticing some bad things. The bad things are things that you can actually fix. You know, I just want to say, like, the bad things are definitely things you can probably fix. And where does that leave him? So I was just talking a bunch, not paying attention too much to what he was doing. Takes the wave. His teammates pushed us out. He crashes the wave. He decides to base. Jax has a timer to fight. This is just this guy trolling. So that's not really on Naak at all. Not on him at all. And they kill themselves again top when there's a timer for them to play on. So, and he went straight bot. Like, he did go straight bot, so it's not really, they're just trolling. Okay, so this guy picks up another kill, and Naak is doing the right thing. Like, I don't see any issue what he did. He should base. Probably should just base and just get more items again.
Et les duos auraient dû être intéressés par leur soul point. Sauf qu'ils ont déjà prévu, comme on s'en doutait, de cross-map. Là, c'est une question de même game, on peut pas savoir. Mais si tu veux vraiment jouer ça, normalement, tu veux avoir la vision et le drag side. Et une fois que tu as la vision, tu reset ton fuck et tu peux free D'ailleurs,
okay.
on y est sur
This will be important. So he's standing in front. He needs rage. The dragon is gonna get deleashed. Okay, this is perfect. Because at this point, he can't hold that spot. This is a dead area. Can't hold this. I just assumed they were gonna walk by, and they could pull it this way too. I mean, I think holding it this way already looks pretty hard, especially because you can't play on the brush because it's fucking Maokai. So moving this way and pulling the dragon this way, and then not kind of going around the pressure would be the most ideal situation they can have. And if they run into these guys, they win. So I think at this point, he needs to be moving this way, not stand in front, and start creating flank pressure. I think him being on the drag is bad. Yeah, it turned out really bad. I knew it. Okay. I fucking knew it. So, up to 20 minutes, no issue. Drag 3, which was like 2015, needs to flank around bot power try. Did not. Sat on drag for some odd reason. Killed himself plus. It's simple as that. Like I said, imagine this picture where Renekton's here, and he's moving up, and he's pushing this guy off. Okay? Just imagine that. The Mumu is sitting here. Yes, the Jax could move this way, but he's gonna press in and like push this guy off. He will. And you're waiting for them to engage. Yes, he also could just sit here the entire time, because no matter what, you're pulling back. This is happening. You're pulling back no matter what. And it's just how your comp plays. You know, if they had a better setup where they could like defend this a little bit, he's sitting here. Obviously, if he was here, this would be like perfect. Like he has flash. He could flash on like a primary carry and it'd be perfect. But him sitting here, useless. Douglas being here, like, way worse. This is way worse. Douglas is the one who has the fucking CC and the pressure. So that is on him. That is on him, and that's on Douglas, and they need to like get their shit together. Yeah, he literally could have came over here, hit this, and already started pressuring over here. And then while he's sitting over here, if they walk up, Ezreal can poke them. And I see this guy moving over this way. Rel? Where's Rel? Rel's here. Where's... I don't think Sten walks up this way. I think Sten walks around and wards. So Sten should have some, like... I mean, Sten literally just, like, lets it happen, too, by the way. That guy's gonna be LEC? Oh my god, I don't think so. So this game's fucked. I mean, the Jax has 2 items, he's 4-0. The Renekton has no pressure. The only thing Renekton can do, he needs to go Sterix, it needs to be a meatball. He needs to be a meatball. The fact that he's getting a push like this is amazing. Don't hit the turret. Move for the team! Oh my god. Oh my god. Shift. Hitting turret. This is like, again, this to me, this is bad. Because you want to be with your team and create moments. Yes, you hit some of the turret, but you actually could have been mid. They could have been shifting around, creating a situation. Like, I just want to see, like, what could he actually be doing? He would start moving now. So he'd be here at this point, and they have nowhere to go. So now they can already push into here, into this, like, entire quadrant, and create a situation. They could. They literally could do that. But because he's late, like, it's harder to move into this area. And now the Jax is gonna push out, so now he does nothing. And now he's canceling his base over and over again. And now they can play for Baron. They actually could pull, by the way. Like, it would have been really realistic for them to pull the Baron there with the Jax advantage. And just say bet. Try to like see if you can stop this. Now he's fucked. I mean, that was actually such a good chance for them to get a little bit more, and then that they might have found like a really good TP flank ward, which Go just like doesn't find, and then play on it. I mean, the Jax backed off randomly, which seems a little weird. Personally, I don't like Renekton doing the fucking red buff. And I say that because I feel like Renekton takes forever to do the red buff. When does he finish it? So look, he started the red buff now, 23, like 58. He doesn't finish it until literally like almost 30 seconds later. So I don't know. I personally don't like that. Like, didn't help around mid. Like, yes, I guess you took the red buff, so Mumu like didn't have to take it, but personally, like, he's literally not touching the wave. And the thing that sucks about this game is, like, ideally he would come through the bot side, but he really can't, because the Jax would just, like, shove him out instantly, like, just, like, kick his ass.
Le Poquito qui ne touche pas. On surveille les missiles de Jésus particulièrement. On reprend la vision pour l'instant, les textes sont pas sûrs comment on rentre dans cette rivière. Ça touche la poke. Prime, dis-moi. Prime qui veut leur priver. On les rabat. Et Prime, du coup, qui peut déclencher. Il flash in pas. Prime, on attend, on est très patient, trop pété. On a mis sur la glace. Les G1 en train de micro.
Yeah, they're just shitting on them. And then he kind of gets like frustrated, right? So he goes for a play, but he doesn't go on the guy with cleanse, right? Surely not. Ah, you fucking idiots. That was stupid.
Ils ont pas enclenché en même temps. Ouais, et Prime, c'est juste qu'à la dernier moment, avec le de ouais, je vais regarder la et les autres niveaux, on est sans avoir à se battre pour les JO, c'est Ils sont très à l'aise avec cette manière de jouer. Ouais, des ulti long range, c'est en même temps c'est confort. Je me demande à quel point le pic de Maokai ne serait pas.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks done, right? Like, it literally just looks done.
Oui, pour tes fans aussi, on est ensemble. Parce qu'il y a des PO, c'est tout à fait. Voilà, mange dur dans les batailles, ça mange, ouais. 80% de rate Maokai en 2024 plutôt. C'est pas mal, si tu coup, sur 5. Ah, il est bon, 30, c'est 100%. Sur 4 Et t'as le pourcentage de banning contre Géo ou c'est pas encore. Je les aime, mais ils sont un peu trop divers et variés. Non, Mumu. Non, c'est bon, ça va. Ah, ce beurre là, ça va. Ça va pas, non? Bon, s'il te plaît. On sent que côté Fire, on est plus du tout dans le contrôle de la game. C'était le cas dans les premières minutes sur les premières tourelles. C'est Géo qui dit que le tempo et là Géo prenne leur temps. Géo, quand ils sont en train de se donner. On fait des kills dans puissance intelligente. Ah ouais, Nako.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He just looks cooked. Also, I just realized this Baron is the one that absolutely shreds you. Like, this Baron does a ton of damage. So, if you do pull, like, Go could have pulled that one time where I said, it's doable, but it has risks. Specifically because it's this Baron. If it was a different one, maybe not. But this one, yeah, it's pretty spooky. So he's just not touching the side, like, at all. He's just going to do the camps. I'm gonna note that. I'm gonna note that. So So that's definitely a case. He doesn't know 100% when it's safe to be inside.
C'est maîtriser le jeu pour les autres équipes neutres par G1, c'est une game 1, c'est une masterclass et c'est une très bonne nouvelle parce qu'on rappelle que dans la première game de leur vidéo, c'était pas ça. On est peut-être dans une compo méga confort, je pense aussi. Ouais. Ils ont l'air de chacun vraiment être en pleine maîtrise de leur responsabilité. C'est exactement quoi faire commenter. Mais il y a quand même un petit point qui me sur le pin, c'est pour la terre mid, même pas 50% PV. Il serait peut-être temps à 30 minutes. Parce qu'avancer sur le side et prendre des T200 à terre mid, c'est compliqué. Juste balancer les ronces sous la toile et basta, et vita, viennent intercepter la wave, ce qui fait qu'on va avoir une prise de T2 avec terre mid up. Absolument. Ça arrive pas souvent, non. Non, il y a des gars qui font beaucoup d'efforts pour la garder cette wave. Donc il y a la petite ward à côté de Jésus là qui peut être inquiétante. Mais là, honnêtement, il est juste à forcer le passage. Allez, c'est maintenant, il m'a en parallèle et là ça passe. C'est encore 3 waves de Nashor et Géo, on valide la terre mid. Et là, avec le bot, et la team de Nashor, ils peuvent même aller chercher ces deux bots et exit sur le dragon central. Et ça, c'est une macro qui est parfaite. Ils sont reset tous ensemble, se redéploient blindés de ward.
I wonder, guys. Should I finish this game out? I say that because it's so hard for them to do anything, and I don't know. I don't mind the idea and how he plays side at times. I really don't. And I think it's kind of hard to criticize like team fighting at this point in the game because their team is so weak. They're so weak that like what can you do? Especially for his champion, he knows his champion's a shit stain in this game. So yeah, I mean, you can't really do anything. Yeah, that's it. I don't need to watch more. So I think all in all, actually, wait, did I accidentally type some of this? Okay, no. We go into this one. So for me, you know, game is super hard because of the top one time plus flanking mistake. I mean, it is what it is, right? Plus, oh, and his teammates gave 2 free kills over the Jacks. So there was like a number of issues that were like problematic. And I think his side laning in the end was actually not the worst. Like I'm actually gonna put a 62 here because I kind of liked some of his camp takes while waiting. Not the right balance overall, but he at least did get farm crashes in a weaker setting. So that part actually is not bad for me to see. Like that really wasn't too bad. I mean, I could just say this is like 58 to 62 if I really want to in the end of the day. Team fighting wise, it really just depends. Like, it's probably like a 56. Yeah, not really much to say. I think just sucks letting some situations get away from him. And like I said, I do think he could have been ahead in early game. He really could have.
Ils vont pouvoir ramp up, en tout cas, ça va être le big.
JNX.
Toxique, c'est vrai que ça aurait été pas mal. Je crois qu'il y a...
So this is his Yone Warn game.
un truc comme,
this will be pretty important to watch because this is like his pick. Like this is like a champion he practices routinely in solo queue. Like this is like a champion that he's literally known for. So he has to like perform, right? Before I do anything though, I need to eat some food real quick. Let me grab a little snack. Okay, I apologize once again for dipping just for a second. It's just when you talk constantly for several hours, yeah, it helps to actually eat something.
là, ils pourraient, potentiellement-
She has no info that Zyra's piling bot,
Voilà, je pense qu'ils ont,
though
les conclusions de leur vidéo précédente contre la Carmine.
you can kind of assume so because of the
On va
champions.
voir comment cette compo va se mettre en place. Elle est, quand tu vois, elle est relativement squishy, hein, ce qui passe derrière, ça peut manquer de dégâts. Et encore, non, je me retire sur les dégâts vu, parce que Zyra, Zeri, Seraphine, qui bloque un peu. Ouais, vous en parlez un petit peu en pré-show, mais je trouve que oui, certes, il faut une compo qui a assez d'outils pour faire ces choses dans la game, mais après, c'est faut juste bien jouer dans tous les compartiments du jeu. Quoi. En lane, faut faire de ton mieux, quand tu dois solo, faire de ton mieux, quand tu veux faire de ton mieux, quand tu veux faire de ton mieux, c'est toujours. Non, mais c'est aussi simple que ça, genre, littéralement, c'est un jeu ultra compliqué, ouais, le joue avec les lunettes et bloc-notes, jouer bien. Jouer bien, mais c'est littéralement ça, y a rien qui n'est pas faisable sur les Legends. Sur la meilleure équipe.
I'd say the number one thing he needs to watch out for is, well, one, I don't think Ornn goes Grasp. I think Ornn probably could have gone to Airy, which would have been a lot better. Especially because you could just like whittle down Yon's conditions and have a little bit more presence in the lane compared to Grasp, which is like, yeah, if the wave is bouncing, you can get some value, but you really don't want to trade too long against him. Well, the number one thing for Yon is he just can't like get his, like, for instance, he can't get his he can't Q3 in and then just get absolutely comboed and then Ornn just walks away. Because if that happens, he's gonna lose like 30% of his HP. And if that happens just a few times, then Ornn's in his R combo range and then he just kills him. So that's like really the only thing you have to watch out for as Yon. I will say the fact that he's down 6 CS, he missed an entire wave of CS. And Ornn is like actually even with him. That shouldn't happen. He's dropping CS again.
C'est vrai qui est même très forte dans les interactions PV en early game, tu fais tout rapidement. Si t'as des trios de lane, etc., comme si avec la bottom, tu peux bouger un petit peu ton vis-à-vis. Et t'es capable de bouger tes ce n'est pas rien. Pareil, au niveau des objectifs, le qui est très fort. Moi je pense que Zyra est vraiment un très bon champion, très complet, faut juste pas glisser et bien l'entourer en termes de draft. Quand tu prends Zyra dans ton draft, tu sais atouts. Tu prives aussi de certaines choses, comme une réelle engage indépendante, que beaucoup de junglers apportent, comme Maokai ou Sejuani par exemple.
Enfin, que le temps passe, je me dis, alors tu peux jouer en mode très très hard, des chances pour quasiment rejoindre ton temps, Zyra, sans ça c'est compliqué.
Et on voit que ma set de lane Vita, elle avait bien du sustain, ils étaient un peu dans le mal sous tourelle face à 15 en train de prendre des volets de hache, et là au final, ils ont plus de temps que leur opposant, toujours des kills inventaires. Pour l'instant, la bataille s'en sort bien.
We'll see how this goes, because he just rebuilt the wave to crash. The Ornn is losing all of his conditions, but he's hanging in there, and it looks like he's going to be about even CS versus the Yon, which is really great, honestly. Like, yes, the Yon is going to destroy the Ornn inside, as you would expect. But for how the game can go, especially because it's Senna, Nila, like, and the Hui, the Ornn has a lot of value, a lot of catch. So he knows that everyone's like dancing around the dragon, so he's free to do whatever he wants to. At this point, because he has some, he has the movement speed, he has more attack speed. Yeah, if you notice, the trades are gonna, and obviously with levels, like Yon will start kind of pulling ahead versus the Ornn. So I really just want to see how that pans out, because still, it's like a pretty even slate, which is good for Ornn.
Il y a une petite donnée, c'est des trucs, mais en face, il y a quand même des champions mobiles, et surtout Seraphine qui permet un très bon kiting. Après, faut voir si l'animal va se payer les chemins facilement, ou ça fait une bonne bataille qui prend énormément de dégâts, qui peut pas essayer de récupérer Seraphine pour le dragon. Et en bataille, c'est pas terminé, ça enchaîne par Russe, qui en veut plus ici. Le spacing était là, et on a claqué tous les summoners sauf la cleanse. Et qui a tué sans flash, que s'est-il passé? Je suppose qu'on va voir le replay. Ah, ils sont un peu out, pourtant la première agression de Yopa était bonne, mais qui a tué flash out. Et puis après, volet de flèche, ulti Seraphine, flèche de cristal. En plus, ils ont tout mis sur stem, qui lui n'a pas de sense. Alors, tout simplement, ultimate, auto-attaque, on déplace son Ricker qui va droit. Ah, j'ai acquitté de sa tête, mais rien à sa tête, quoi. Ça a l'air facile, ça a l'air très facile. Cœur conscient de la situation et du fait que ce qui était gratuit à récupérer. Il est first blood, donc c'est un sacré buff pour cette série.
I mean, he's just playing in his face the entire time. Like, there's no jungle interaction at all. And it's like, with Ornn 6, yes, you can play on it, but if you look at how, like, the game's going, like, here comes Dragon, right? The grubs are gone, and Skew decides to clean the rest of his camps upward. Okay, so he's gone. He's not coming back, they're not making a play top. The Zyra shows... I don't know what the Zyra did. I think the Zyra took a camp away or something like that, right? So the Yon still knows that she's bot. Okay, so Naak can kind of like play into him, and now he's showing mid, but he's progressing, right? So BDSA is progressing, so and Naak's team is not. And Naak is also not really progressing. Like, there's no bad wave state for JNX. Like, no wave pulse to freeze, create situations. Pop to kill the Ornn. Pulling ahead by like plus 10 CS max isn't much. Seems fine, question mark. Like, there's so little for me to say because there's such little interaction. I don't know what's actually going on up there. But he got 3 plates. Okay, so he got 3 plates. So this I'm really curious on now, because if they're actually... This guy's using his R on him. Surely he never would kill him there, right? I'm so curious. I'm actually so curious to know what he can do. Oh, he didn't get his base, by the way, again. You know, ideally... You know what? Ideally, he would fish for his base, but it looks like Naak is going to extend his timer on the map. And he's going to play for his TP. I mean, Zyra's so low that this should be free. No? Oh, did he give the wave again? Motherfucker. Oh my god. He's too caught up on what's happening here. All he needs to do is shove his wave. That's all he needs to do. He just needs to shove his wave. I don't know how these guys ever take grubs over them. Ever. Like, ever. Like, 11-25. Moving too early versus focusing on his wave. JNX cheats it. Because once this guy's low, and obviously, you know, the way also moved. So it's like the way moved, and, you know, your fucking Yon was moving. So JNX gets it in, and now these guys can enter. Whereas before, if Yon just like shoved out the Ornn fully, he would have just moved out. And they actually could create a situation with Wei TP. But now they can't. And now they just lose it. Well, he absolutely butchered that. Skew has no TP, or has no flash, by the way. Missed? Did fucking nothing. Killed himself. Amazing. Actually amazing. He completely fucked that up. TPs to fight anyways, and completely lifts his R, plus botched it. Panics. I mean, this was really, really bad. So, because he had his advantage, right? Like, this was your advantage to use from, like... Like, that was it. That was literally it. Oh my god! That's so bad.
C'est déjà ça le prix engagé qui est dans les de HP, mais peut-être dominer l'élite avec le sur lui, c'est très fluide pour l'instant. Et le kill sera récupéré par contre. Il y a du backup. Genax est dans la place, le stun va pas connecté. Il est pas encore connecté, Genax. Et il faut voir le nombre d'outplays que Yopa a dû mettre, c'est-à-dire flash, l'ultime de Séraphine, juke les trucs. Genre vraiment, il a pu faire plein de choses. Et même comme ça, c'est un trade kill. Il y a eu 2 kills récupérés en tout, mais Les carangols, c'est toujours le même. Les BDS, comme tu as dit, on les grudge, on délaisse le break. Et là, pour pouvoir enchaîner sur le second, sachant qu'en face, tous les scénarios utilisés, regarde, il y a petit monospace et peu d'ulti côté Vita. Et en plus de ça, les BDS viennent avec des spikes d'items indépendants forts, double statique, même la mousseau super rapide. Donc là, les BDS sont bien forts sur ce timing et l'accumulation des dragons de drift peut suivre. Par contre, top lane, même sur les avec Genax qui a été forcé TP, ou même sur celui avec un call, bientôt stacké, une merca bientôt là. Peut-être un
Excuse me.
pouvoir à ce niveau pour Vita. C'est solide, c'est celui qu'il faut compter.
So yeah, that's the end of the early game. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, guys. This, oh my god, it's so sad. There was no issues with what he was doing per se. Like I could probably put this at a high ERL level in the end of the day. Like it's a 60. Like it probably is. It probably is a 60. He played his lane. He did what he needed to do. He got gold. He was strong. You know, yes, he still made the mistake where he's literally letting someone cheat over because you made a mistake. So if you want, you could put down like 57 to 60. I mean, you could even put 65 if you really want to, or like a 63 if you really wanted to. Like you could literally do something like this, and that's fine. And the trades were mostly fine too, but just making that one critical mistake, which is like the only thing you had going for you. Yes, is your upper bound probably like a 62? Okay, fine, your upper bound's a 62, but your lower bound is like a 51. Like, because you made that slip up, like it's such a drastic range in error from what you did.
Et la contre-attaque de BDS Academy, on va mettre un petit flash out, il glide comme ça sur les murs et on se fait juste démolir, on peut pas jouer ce genre de 5 contre 4. On rigole un peu plus avec niveau 11, il va prendre le stun. Et là ça va se défoncer avec la tour qui part, qui est très dans le fait, qui va le flash.
And he does actually proxy quite often in games. You don't see that as often, but he also likes to proxy in laning phase often. Like it's just like a thing. Like it literally just seems like a thing. Hold on, 1 second. Yon Orn. This is a long one. Renekton Jax. Cassante Nar. Vayne Cassante. I will say, it definitely goes faster to do top lane in some lanes for those. When it's like, if you don't have the POV. When you have the POV, you can be a lot more critical on the very small, like, movements, like movement that players have, the spacing. Like, is he wiggling on, like, is he baiting, like, the Ornn W's, Q's, like, spells and making him waste shit and able to take advantage? You know, like, I just can't see any of that. Like, that stuff is not given to me. So, that's why the bare bones way of scouting a player works to a certain level. You know, if he's doing all this shit in the laning phase and I just can't see any of that and that's what's happening, then that's like something you're really gonna like, right? But for now, like, this is all I can really like lean on because I just have access to the VODs, not the like I said, POVs or the like just replay. So it is what it is. But right now, JNX is definitely looking better than Naak. Like, he's looking a lot better. Well, that's not acceptable. That's really, really unacceptable. He is on weak side. They leaned over. They clearly took this turret, and now that's the end of the play, right? So now at this point, there's all this vision in topside. There's all this vision in topside. Did they know this? No. It looks like they don't know that, like, they placed a ton of deep vision. He has a pink there. He actually lost the pink. So yeah, he can assume that something fucking happened. So once he cheats his wave, he needs to dip. He needs to dip and use his sweeper to clear vision. This is a vision timer. A vision timer for him. 1644. Because keep in mind, what happened to fucking JNX base TPs behind him? The Naak is dead. He has no flash. No flash. No flash. Plus. Like, there is just so many things that are screaming to you that this is a bad idea by him. And he still does it. And he kills himself.
On avait pas assez de dégâts. Quelqu'un a quasiment 2 systèmes pour le il a 2800 d'avance. Oh là là, c'est terrible, ils se font, mais tous pick up les uns les autres. Ils peuvent pas avancer. Ils peuvent pas all-in, ils peuvent pas avancer, ils ont pas le droit de faire non plus.
You know, I have not witnessed him do. He has a bunch of solo kills, but I have not watched like any of this. I've not seen it.
Et top CS de la game, c'est quand même assez rare, un jeu. Effectivement, mais d'accord, ça vient de changer sur cette wave, mais c'est fou quand même. Ricoeur qui repasse devant Ricoeur qui est en forme et qui est plus que fait, il a fait dans la guerre, derrière on reconnaît notre bon Ricoeur de LFL, parce que sur son dernier BO malheureusement il est random. Mais ça arrive, ça peut pas toujours être au top. Il retourne, il a tourné, il a pas de contrôle, il a aucun des ultis, je sais pas si on arrive à aller jusqu'au bout, même si on a beaucoup slow, Charles qui est bien du côté de Sten pour
Yeah, I gotta say, J-Nex, like, I don't know, guys. I think this guy is gonna definitely do some good work in LEC. Even if he's not as, like, yeah, you could maybe say he's not as good as Naak in terms of like pure skill, right? But in the other aspects which do count for League, Naak is definitely slacking. I mean, he baits it. It's cool in the end. The thing is, Zeri pushed out bot, and he should never group mid here. Like, it's Zeri's timer to be on mid, 4v4 with an Orin TP. I don't want to fucking fight that. Like, he should know at 19 to like 14, stay bot and push this out. Don't group with the boys. Like, it's actually bad to do this. And while he does burn some CDs, which is awesome, again, I just don't think he should be in the position where he's like, this has to happen.
Mais on trouve les all-in pour Yopa avec un ulti extrêmement bien placé. Est-ce qu'on peut aller au bout? Il y a eu une téléportation de Jenax et ça va tout de même partir pour BDS Academy.
Nice escape. I mean, like I said, you can see moments of like, you can definitely see moments of where he kind of just lets his instincts take over, and the possibilities are there. But it just matters, are you capable of getting there? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you actually capable of understanding the game and then applying it, or do you need someone to actually help you like figure it out? Because on this team, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this team is here purely off just their own skill set, versus like none of these players make me think that this is a commander-like player who's gonna actually help steer the team and like lead the team in the correct way. This team just does not look like that at all.
Les BDS sont bien arrêtables sur cette game. Ricoeur, ça y est, ouais, avec la DT. Lui qui reste en train de faire, hein. Plus il va avoir le grade du rang, Ricoeur, ça va être indécent. Le spike qu'il va avoir. Il va avoir un spike, on va dire 3 items et demi avec une amélioration, on va dire pas demi. Très tôt dans la partie.
I will also say that when it comes to scouting a laner, especially specifically top lane, okay, in a situation like this, it can be a little more boring to watch at times, because when I did the jungler, it's just everything matters. Like, all the conditions on the map, your camps, you're always involved. You have to always be thinking. Whereas with the top lane, it just really depends on like how things are being tracked in the end. Mid lane also very interesting. So he TP's behind. He has a good flank. He should wrap around, especially because they see everyone here. He should wrap around. His team has to be very careful on how they play, especially because they have no flashes. Like, they could just be like fucking engaged on any time, right? Okay, J-Nex kind of fucking whiffed it. This guy still got shit on. I wonder if it's good for him to hold this position, or because it's like already here. I'd actually be so curious to see what this looks like if he ran this way. If he runs this way, these guys are gonna run this way. So they're gonna depend on Seraphine R and this to cancel it, which I think is doable, especially for their comp. Or sorry, ooh, I have this on the opposite way. Fuck, his team comp is so shit. He has to stay. He has to stay. No flashes on anyone. I don't think he can give them the time to wrap around. If he can, it would be huge, but this is actually correct. Him staying in this pocket is correct. Man, dude, his team is just so shit. His team is so shit at actually peeling. He has R. No flash on Zyra, no flash on Zeri, no flash on Seraphine. He is used on Zyra.
Mais c'est super.
Oh my fucking god. Dude. Oh, shit. Can we do something with that?
C'est pour qui? C'est pour personne. C'est un
Don't.
énorme.
What is Dagless doing? Where did Dagless use his R?
Et on veut pas flip, hein, on veut turn pour BDSA Academy. On veut trouver un engage sur qui que ce soit.
What the fuck?
Le 2 de la forge, c'est pour qui? C'est pour personne, c'est un énorme but.
We have play R. Oh, I don't know. This is so awkward because a lot of these targets would be good R targets for him, but he's in here solo. No one's gonna help him. Like, Wei could maybe toss his R and some abilities this way, and I think that's the only way this could go well. And so maybe he should do that. Maybe he should just toss his R out and go for it all, right? Instead of just playing it slow, because if he plays it slow, like, they're not going to win. But it's also not his fault, because Dagless used his R in a stupid way. So he waited for things to pan out. Oh. He's dead. I like the brush usage. Really like the brush usage. They knew he was in here, so they should never walk up. But they do make the mistake, and so he gets to go in. Wei still has his R, right? Oh my fucking god, this motherfucker uses his R on fucking... Oh man, I don't know if JNX was actually doing that on purpose. If he was, impressive. But I feel like Jacques, this guy should not, for one, why is he actually walking forward? He should play in this pocket so he has the look this way, because if he hits this, oh my god, they actually win. It's literally perfect. It's actually perfect. Like 22, 21, 45. Correct position to hold based on his comp plus no flashes, no time to flank. So this is correct. 2202, fantastic. Rush hold, let enemy int, good R, just his mid laner into the situation. Like, he did play this well. This was correct. Everything he did here was correct. Not being able to finish that out, that's not his fault. They should have gotten 2 kills off that. They honestly, he should have just ran the fucking team fight. That's unlucky. That's so unlucky. Oh, that's so unlucky and it's so frustrating. There's no fucking... I mean, they're only... You know, funny enough, they're only down 4K. Like 4,000 or 5,000 gold, despite being down 15 kills in all the dragons. That's kind of funny. That was actually good by him, though.
Bon, normalement, avec tout ça, avec cette compo, avec bientôt 4 dragons, ça devrait être suffisant pour le reste de l'excellente. Ok, oui, c'est vrai que Seraph, même Seraph, c'est quelque chose. Moi, j'ai activé les dégâts même dans la partie. Et ouais, arriver de cette où les dégâts de l'anime là-bas, forcément, c'est tout rien, toi tu peux rentrer dans les fights et faire ce que ton champion veut faire. L'image d'une Samira par exemple, c'est vrai que tu te fais sauver naturel, tu te fais sauver naturel, les BDS ont été concurrents depuis le début de la game. C'est ce que disait Wadi, et on reviendra après, Flash de Cristal, Ulti. Et Chaya qui ne joue pas, il n'a pas eu l'occasion, il devrait pouvoir finir cette game du côté de BDS Academy. C'est un massacre, et il n'y aura pas du tout de quoi en dire.
I mean, I'm not gonna fault him for anything here. Like, what the fuck's he gonna do? That's crazy. Okay, so that game just ended instantly. Team fighting wise, I can't really judge it too hard. But like the only team fight he was in, it looked good. Like for what he was gonna do, it looked good. For side laning wise, it was not good. This was like this wasn't good. This definitely was not good. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Maybe I could do up to 55, but I didn't like it. Team fighting only had one team fight. I mean, you definitely can see how he's good on the champion, but it's still not enough for me. He didn't get to show off as much as I hoped. See, I could do this one, but... I want to do one more game, and it needs to be something a little different to get a variety. I mean, watching Go... Well, I mean, I could watch Gamers Board. I was gonna watch this. I figured this could be interesting. Because, I mean, the only thing is I'm always watching him in advantageous lane matchups. Do you know what I mean? I watched him in Vayne versus Cassante. Yeah, Vayne versus Cassante. Advantage. Right? He had advantage because for the matchup. Cassante versus Gnar, disadvantage. Slash, like, depends. Depends. Advantage. So 2 advantages and then 2 like kind of doable matchups. Nothing has felt really like truly like that bad for him. I don't care to do this one. I feel like this one would definitely be more boring to watch. I mean, seeing him play against Lot is also not the worst. I don't think I care to see Cassante versus Redacted as the option. I don't know if I really want to see other top laners either. I feel like this is actually a good set of top laners to watch, except I don't really know much about Pang. I really don't know much about Pang. But let's watch it. Because it's still an interest of, like, again, if you can play these kinds of top laners, it does pay off a lot. And he practiced it, so... Oh, it's Pride. Wait, why did it... Oh, I see why it was like that. Okay, my bad. I'm like, Pang. And I kept thinking to myself, isn't Pang... Pang is like a mid laner I remember when I was watching, and he was like a fake good player. I don't know why people were like hyped about him. Every time I watched him, I was just kind of like, you know, what's this a meh? Do I remember this guy? His name sounds familiar. Not that great. Okay, so I want to see what can he do against a weaker opponent. A very clearly weaker opponent. So naturally they should play to him. I mean, like, that would be like the most obvious thing. They have a really good bot lane as well that they could play to. They could just let TF just like kind of do his thing. Douglas is gonna do 6 camps no matter what. They didn't see TF ward this, right? So Corki warded it from him. Okay. So he didn't check to see where Vi started. The Gnar didn't leash. So they have no info. Okay, so they have no info. But he is going to play a forward, no matter what. He walks for a deep ward. That's interesting. It looks like his CSing is a little bit better this time. Because when he's moving, his CS is done. So he missed 2 CS. So this was better. That was better overall. I mean, all this shit is happening, so like the TF can keep just like doing what he wants to do. I'm kind of curious if there's ever been situations where they get camped, where he gets camped. Because he does play pretty forward often. And because these guys are playing into bot lane and like things are happening bot lane, he doesn't have to worry about a lot of ganks. So the Vi is showing again, so he's free to do whatever the hell he wants to. He never found his base. This was a cannon. If he based on this cannon, the Gnar would grow the wave, and he couldn't really probably do anything about it. This is it. Okay. Don't mind it. What is really happening in this game? I mean, I don't really have much issue about, like, what's happening. It's just he's not really... He didn't grow an advantage at all. That's the only thing. Like, he didn't really grow any kind of advantage. This guy just jumped on top of him and killed himself? I don't know, I'm not sure why Pride just, like, lost his conditions for fun, but... So be it. This time he actually looks like he is trying to pull the wave. Yeah, I don't know what to think, guys, with this game. This one is actually more boring than some of the other ones because nothing's happening. Some movements. Swaps into bot. He's not really, like, over-forcing any kind of trades. He's kind of farming out. He's waiting for teammates to show up so he can actually hit the wave. So that swap is not on him. That's on his teammates who decided to swap, no? Because they swap here, and the wave was what? It was a cannon wave. I'm not really sure how they planned it. So he kind of just goes down from the situation. I think the ulti top is fine to get the wave. This is fine as well. I mean, it looks like this guy just killed himself into him. Here we go. We can actually get a more normal look to it.
Niveau d'avance sur le Gnar.
Ah, il y a sauté dessus, Pride. Il y croyait.
Il y va avec son niveau d'avance, ce qu'on peut comprendre, mais...
Ah ouais, mais il est tellement loin du...
I mean, like, what can you say, right?
Sur le Gnar,
Gets hit by Q.
Il y va avec son niveau d'avance, ce qu'on peut comprendre, mais...
Gets hit by both Qs. He gets hit by everything and he still wins. More reserved, not looking to make things messy, it seems. Creep game seems fine. Just like missing some still, which probably shouldn't happen. Since Friday isn't in his space until the 8-9 minute mark. Plus, junglers are fighting bot often. No R usage for the team. One time for himself. Swap kind of hurts him.
Ah ouais, mais il est tellement loin du méga.
solo kill is because Pride sucks. I mean, like, you're gonna run into games like this, and you kind of just take it as is. Like, you just assume, okay, he has a free advantage from his opponent being bad. Can he actually use his advantage? Because in the Young game, he had an advantage versus JNX, and JNX is a good top laner. So he had an advantage against a good top laner, and then he threw it all away. So what can he do with this? He has R. Herald is gone. Cheats the wave. Deciding to base. Corki's already pushing bot, so he's gonna run top to get the wave again. Dragon's not coming up for a little bit. He's basing again. This one I disagree with. If he's already here, he should be planted here. Corki should just go bot. Corki can lane against Gnar. He can lane against Nico. This is fine. If they want to do this, they're going to go behind tempo, and so the enemy team is going to have an opportunity to do something. So they just have to play defense. So they decided to play defense versus just like keeping the lanes as is. Except his bot lane decided to fight on mid, which doesn't make any sense because, like, again, you're playing defense. And now he's against the Gnar, and he's just not really, like, doing too much. He knows the Gnar's Mega's gonna end. Herald's on mid. Corki TP on. There's TPs behind that they could use. Leo's coming up. He could be popping R right now and fucking them. This is a missed opportunity on his side. Laning, like, okay, I'm just gonna say laning is fine. Trading, it looked fine. Like, I don't really know what to say. It looked fine. Don't like the swap. But despite that, 1630 should trace the Gnar. So that's the only thing I don't like, is I just feel like these guys get out of it unpunished, and the bot turret was already dead. So he just crashed a wave that Gnar can just take anyways. So, like, I guess he took this turret to half, right? Of course, obviously, if he dies the fucking, like, Vi, then it's like, okay. Ah, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, come on, man. That's actually unreal to die like that. That's actually unreal to die that way. Especially, again, having an actual advantage from enemy top inting you int. Like, come on. Can't be doing that. So he's had 0 R value, STF in 20 minutes into the game. He's had pretty much no laning value outside of just like, yeah, I got gold, I'm playing TF. And his R, where's his R? And the fight's dead. At this point, the fight is pretty dead. And so he should definitely just get the bot wave. Like, even if they kill them mid, if they get like a kill mid, it doesn't matter too much. Like, this looks dead. I don't know, this play looks kind of dead, no? I don't know, it just looks like a dead play. Like, everyone wants to reset anyways. Like, 1800, like, uses R on mid when play looks dead already. There's something weird, there's something fishy about this guy. There's something fishy about this guy. You know, he's gonna need a lot of fucking work when it comes to just, like, playing the game with others. Because now he doesn't have R, so now he can't have, like, any, like, assistance when moving. Like, he could have just R'd now, right? Can't do it, okay. Then he's able to just run at Gnar because this guy is a fucking idiot and kills him. Like, okay, like, like that's literally 2 out of his 7 solo kills, by the way. 2 out of 7 of his solo kills are against Pride already in this stupid game. So he kills him, gets a free reset. Okay, I'm cool with him going mid. I like this. Don't put yourself in Vi range. You have R. You have RFC. Nautilus is dead. Ooh, that is too early, Stend. You need to let these guys come in more. Oh, it's too early, man. Nobody can reach this. Yeah. That's not his fault, by the way. Like, if he died here, I wouldn't say, wow, you're so stupid, bro. Like, he's just following the play that's just a bad engage. And he gets locked here, and luckily he's able to flash out, thank the Lord. Like, I'm assuming he was spamming the fuck out of his button to get out of that, or else he definitely would have died. Honestly, personally, when they're walking in, he actually should press R here. Like, I do think they should just wait, and he should communicate about this. That'd probably be a way better approach than what he did. I also don't really care for using his R this way either. Like, you're definitely gonna only play 2 lanes. Nobody's touching the top lane. You take this turret, you can just walk. Just walk to the turret. Or just walk the top lane. These guys are gonna overtake mid anyways, and then you save your R, and then you can still do something with it. By the way, he could have R right now. He literally could have R right now. They still win, but like, he was not even needed. Okay, very funny. Completely unneeded in this game. I didn't get to see like any of it, and in the end it was like, there you go, a plain 55, because like he gets marked down for like just having no ulti presence. And side laning wise, this was not good. Like, this was not good, and it was like this game too. This was not good. I'm not gonna do another game. This is definitely it. If I were to look at this guy and like, how would I consider this? Let's do my conclusion, okay? This is my conclusion. Is he skilled? Honestly, yes, he is. He definitely 100% sure is a skilled player. You know, you can see that he has his moments where if he drives his champion the correct way, and he gets a little help from his teammates at times, he will win out. He will. But the biggest issue that he's suffering is just his overall macro, his side laning, his, like, just general sense for objectives. Like, how would I do this? Like, this whole piece is below LEC. Like, this for sure is below an LEC level currently. He needs, like, massive help. Massive help from coaches. From coaches, and and it depends on, like, his teammates, you know? Because this is great. You know, like, again, like, I love having a skilled player, a guy who can really grow into the role and do well. You know, this is like a plus. But this aspect, this is something that, like, if he had this, that he could beat out JNX. He could beat out JNX if he had this, but he doesn't. Like, routinely, I am seeing him, like, not really figure out, should he go to side? Should he move? Should he be pushing out? Is it safe? Should I be TPing here? Is the TP even worth it? Should I be using my ability this way? And, you know, even in like his, like the strong suit of his, which should be team fights, right? Like team fights. This is still like a squiggly line. This is so I'm like unsure of. Because there's just like errors happening as well. He likes risk. Like he's definitely like, he likes the risk. He likes taking risks. And this can be a big plus. This can turn into some really good plays. Obviously, the return value is that if you take too many risks or you take risks that are not really beneficial to your team that can play around it, then this becomes bad. So I think for this team he's going to be on, he's going to really depend on his teammates. And his teammates are who again? Sheep. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Oh, that did not do what I wanted to do. Okay, here we go. His teammates are Linkas. Oh, dude. Okay. Well, so I said he's going to really depend on his teammates and his coaching staff to like grow into this role. Because right now I would consider him at a, honestly, like he's kind of a mid, like high level ERL player. Like coming in, like this is like how I see him. And that comes across both at his times and the way he's like seen his team fights, how he's side laning. His laning phase is like obviously his best aspect, right? Like laning is like, this is his like, if you want to call it his X factor, like this is definitely the thing that like makes him like pretty good. And obviously having good laning goes a long ways for top lane, but all these other things, and especially because there's no tank play, like no tanks, this means you can't fall back on these other champions and learning this style to like benefit your team. You must perform. You must perform. So yeah, it's really going to depend on coaches and teammates. And so for what they have, this guy is like, to me, this player is like inspired light, but he's worse. Like he definitely is worse than inspired. He team fights worse. He makes certain decisions that are worse. This guy is just bad. I'm gonna be honest. Like this is just not a good partnership to have with this guy. So he's not really gonna do you any good. Karzi and Hylissang are gonna have to step up their game and like how they call and look for situations. But the thing is, Hylissang baits himself into like bad situations, but he likes high risk. So funny enough, this guy and this guy actually align in their thinking. I think the two of them could actually get along. But from what I'm looking at for this roster, I don't have a lot of hope in this like becoming like, they have some interesting players, but I don't have a lot of hope on this like turning them into a like strong force or anything like that. Like I just can't see this, even like where 100 Thieves had like that killer regular split in spring, which surprised everyone. But River is like, this guy is not River. To say the least, this guy is not River. And this guy is definitely not Quid. Like Quid had a hell of a season to help like pull through that, especially because snipers struggled in the beginning. And this guy's not doing that. So yeah, in the end, I think he's a mid to high level ERL player entering LEC with the capabilities to be, you know, a great talent, as like many people have seen and mentioned his name. Like, wow, this guy can be really fucking good. But in his current state, he is not really fucking good. He's not. He will need time to like figure shit out. And if this team loses and their motivation drops, I get to see this being a disaster. So hopefully that's not the case, guys. I also don't think he's a talker. I think he's a mute or someone with low comms. And that just stems from the fact that when watching him, I just feel like he's not dictating enough of his own situations on the map compared to, like, again, the best top laners are guys like BB and like Impact, like in the Western world, who really truly steer the game off what they see and what they can do. And I just don't see that at all in him. So he's gonna have to lean heavily on Linkas and Hylissang, and I don't think these are the players too necessary to do it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I think the next player, if I do this again, might be like Camelo, because I think that'd be interesting. See ya.